This is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot 'em my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down. Aiming for greatness, no settling. Kick down the doors, they won't let me in.
What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy Phil, all caps of the Knicks Nightcap. And I'm not going to waste any time with introductions or anything like that, because what I want to do is go straight into conversation, because our guy, Mr. Apollo Reed, has to take a drive probably about 45 minutes to an hour away from where he's at right now. But
hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Dang! All right.
Dang.
An hour and a half drive tonight. But I wanted to make sure that we got time with him before we actually allowed him to head out. Not allowed him, but before he actually had to leave. So we're going to go straight off the bat with intros right here with them kicking it with us live. So Apollo, how's the day, man? How's it going?
Day was good. Day was going really good. You know, I had therapy for the Achilles still, you know what I mean? Still trying to get back 100%. But it was pretty cool. And, you know, we got home and, you know, got some news that we got to make a little trip. So I have to make a little trip tonight. Yeah. But everything's cool. Everything should be good, hopefully.
All right. And Mr. Al from Harlem, how's it going, my guy?
Been better. The Knicks really impact my mood, so been taking the loss a little rough, and I'm also shaking in my boots for Game 3. I'm not like every other Knicks fan that's just like, oh yeah, we're still gonna. Everyone's still saying Knicks in 4. I'm like, bruh, we lost the game. Right? We can't sweep them anymore. Like
people are
so. I'm a little different than everyone else. I'm shaking in my boots. So I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow, bro. This game can't come soon enough.
You know, I'm not shaking in my boots in any way, shape, or form, but I think that people need to reassess their thoughts. Because, you know, when I said Knicks in 6, everyone thought I was crazy. You know, I was getting so much pushback, like, are you kidding me? This is 5. This is going to be a gentleman's sweep, whatever. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, it's not going to be a gentleman's sweep at all. And the reason I thought that was because I felt like this could happen. Some of the things we're going to talk about, I felt like it could happen. And it did happen. And so for me, if they can come in after what we did in Game 1 and still come and steal one in the Garden with the momentum that we had and the crowd that we had, like, if they allowed that to fuel them, then why would we not consider the fact that we might lose one in ATL? You know, when they're actually home, when they're actually a little more comfortable. And when we saw that what they did worked against us, you know, it worked against us in Game 2. And so for me, I can't just act like I don't think that something's going to happen, because I do. I think that there's definitely a possibility. So my camera keeps freezing. Al said, I'm sorry. I don't know what the heck's going on, but I'll keep talking and hopefully.
And I was exaggerating. Like, I'm not shaking in my boots, but, you know, it's just.
Shaking in his Jordan.
He's not wearing boots. Yeah, I was gonna say he's shaking in his ones. You know what I mean? Me and Apollo had the same exact thought. That was crazy. I love it. So let's talk about it a little bit, you know, and then we'll go into our first pour. I do want to let everybody know that is watching from my whiskey community and stuff like that. John from Peerless actually hit me up that he's not going to be able to join us tonight, unfortunately. So Kentucky Peerless, if you follow them, they actually had a release today, and then they were going to do something where they took all the employees out because it was a big release. So they are actually doing that right now. They are having their, corporate commercial hangout dinner and everything like that, he was like, I can still try to hop on the show, towards the end or stuff like that. And I was like, no, bro, just like go enjoy the hard work that you and your crew put in. They just released a bottle, a 10-year for their 10-year anniversary. So shout out to those guys. But they will be joining us very soon. So instead of tonight being a flight night where we go through 4 samples, we're actually just going to go through 2 of the bottles. And then next week, not next week, but in a few weeks, John will join us and we'll have another 2 bottles to replace those so that we can still have a flight night with them. So shout out to John, shout out to the Peerless team and everybody there. I don't know what's going on, just letting everybody know StreamYard is acting crazy funky. So I can't see any comments or anything like that. Once in a while, one will come in. So shout out to Sherwin. That's the first one that's actually been, working. So shout out to Sherwin. Anybody else that's chatting, I apologize if I can't see it. That's on StreamYard, so I can do what I can do. But let's talk about that first game, guys, because there was actually some good things in that game. All right. But I do want to say this. The NBA playoffs are showing that it's going to be competitive. From the jump, the play-in was competitive. I know a lot of people don't like the play-in, and I can understand why they don't like the play-in for certain reasons. One video I saw made a ton of sense to me, and I couldn't agree more. If you're a 9th and 10th seed, you are a bottom feeder. Like, bottom line, you are a bottom feeder. There is no reason a 9 or 10th team should have the possibility to enter the playoffs. Like, at the end of the day, like, you were worse than mediocre at best. 7 and 8 is at least like, hey, we were in contention for those opportunities. So I get the 7 and 8th play-in. I think we really need to go away with the 9 and 10th. I think that's insane that you can suck that bad in the regular season and still make it into the playoffs. Like, that's just crazy to me. 7 and 8th makes sense though. But hey, shout out to Joe, my guy in the building.
My guy Joe, what's good, Joe?
What up? Shout out to Sherwood as well. But let's talk about that first game in a second. But let's go through and see how the series are looking. You got right now the Thunder a 1-0 spanking against the Suns the other night. Let's see how that goes. LeBron finding a way to still, take this team to victory. So they are up 2-0. And I can't stand LeBron, but LeBron has them 2-0, making Durant look like he's the old man on the court, which is crazy.
And there's no Luka and there's no right?
No Reeves.
Reeves, yeah.
Literally killing by himself as a 41-year-old. Like,
it's crazy. LeBron, Rui, and there's one other person that's been like helping them contend.
Vanderbilt.
Yeah, and Vanderbilt. That's been the 3 guys.
Marcus Smart killed last.
Marcus Smart went crazy. Yeah, he went crazy. He had like 20.
Well, it's like the resurgence of the old men in that series. Like, seriously, like it's crazy. It's like the resurgence of oldies. It's crazy. So that series is sponsored by Ben Gay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, icy hot and all that.
Icy hot, yeah.
Like icing those knees, Hulk Hogan style. But anyway, so that series is 2-0. I'm surprised. Like, if you can win when Bronny James has played minutes in a game, like, there's miracles happening, because that's one of the worst possible scenarios is Bronny James getting playoff minutes, and yet they still found a way to win. The Nuggets, it was just tied up 1-1, series tied because of the deadly shooting of my guy Dante Big Ragu DiVincenzo, holding it down over there. The Blazers tied it up against the Spurs. Needed, Victor Wembanyama to pretty much take a WWE style fall to the ground face first in order to do that. So hopefully he's all right.
What do you call it? Drop 30. What's the guy I was texting you guys about? The highly touted point guard that he's been bad. Man, what's his name?
Scoot Henderson.
Scoot Henderson. Yeah, he killed, bro. Yeah, he killed both games. Yeah.
He's cooking. So shout out to Scoot. Then you got the Pistons They lost the first game to the Magic.
That's
That was
crazy.
crazy. Like, you want to talk about my narrative being shot in the butt. I get on Knicks Life Crisis with Al and Ra and call him Pablo Bumchero, and all of a sudden he takes his team into the play-in tournament, spanks them over there, and then him and Franz destroy the Pistons. That was crazy. Ate my words mad quick. Then the Cleveland Cavaliers are putting a spanking to the Raptors. I think it's, I saw someone made a post that said, I think it's fair to say that the times of RJ Barrett ever becoming a superstar are past due. It will never happen. Shout out to my big bro in the building. What up?
Was good.
So
I agree with that. There's not going to be a day that we see in our lives that RJ Barrett is considered a all-star or a superstar. My opinion is bring him back to New York. Let him run that 6-man position. Let him come off the bench. Bring him back. He loved New York. Yep, he loved New York, and he's never going to be a star, but he could be that 6th man. We're tied 1-1. The 76ers put belt to behind and beat the Celtics last night, which was crazy. And so a lot of series are tied 1-1. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of the, what is it? 4 of the 8 series are tied 1-1, and that's only because the other teams haven't played their second game yet.
Dudes is out here losing to playing teams. Sheesh.
Yeah, man.
Couldn't be my Knicks.
Yep.
Couldn't be my Knicks.
Mitchell in the building. What up? What up? What up?
Imagine if we lost to a playing team. Oh my God.
That would be terrible,
Bro, I feel like Knicks fans were ready to burn each other at the stake after this last loss. Let alone losing to a playing team.
Seriously.
So, that's crazy. All right. So let's talk about that first game. All right. There was some good stuff there. All right. The Knicks won 113-102. I'll just say my favorite thing about that game was that we had 39 rebounds. That's a good number to have. That's 7 rebounds over them. That is a factor that does help us. And then I'm going to throw it to Apollo. But favorite stat was that both Cat and Jalen Brunson ate in that game. 25 points for Cat, 28 points for Jalen Brunson. And I liked what I saw in that first game. So I'll go in more details after you two go. Apollo, what did you think of that first game?
I mean, it was good to see as they came out with the right energy. I think JB had 19 in the first. Was it the first? Or
yeah,
like that. He ended up with 28. You know what I mean? So I guess they woke up and decided that they didn't want Jalen to score anymore after that. And for the second half, Cat came alive, and especially in the fourth quarter. And to get his 25, and that's kind of what you want to see. He has the talent to really affect the game positively all the time. Like, he's like one of the biggest mismatches in the Eastern Conference, if you really think about it, talent wise. But it's just seeing him put it to effect, and he did really, really well at the end of the game, and starting to do that. Of course, there's some things that I was upset about, and one of the things you talk about all the time is only getting 22 assists. There wasn't really much ball movement. You got Brunson in the playoffs. I mean, we talked about him during the season, but during the playoffs, you're really gonna see that ball dribble with Jalen. So, it's something that we're gonna have to figure out. Jalen in particular, and coach as well, hopefully. But this game, they took it to him, and everybody was in sync. And Josh, shout out to Josh. He had like 11. He had 11, 14, and 5. He had 5 assists. Yeah, 11, 14, and 5, man. So shout out to him for that first game.
All right. What about you, Al? What'd you see there?
I like that we dictated the pace in that game. I felt like we limited the transition offense and all that kind of stuff. We won the turnover battle. We forced 12 turnovers and we only committed 11. Cat struggled in the first half, but he was great in the second half. And my favorite part of the game was actually when Jalen Brunson got a technical foul called on Atlanta, and Rick Brunson comes up to Jalen and he's like, basically whispers in his ears, like, "Do you mind if Cat takes the technical free throw?" And you saw Brunson like being like, "Yeah, nah, go ahead, let him rock." Like, and that's because Cat had a rough first half. He kind of didn't show up in the first half. So Brunson did that to get him going, and both Brunsons they did that knowingly, like, "Yo, we got to get this guy going."
Yeah,
and I like that a lot because it shows me that they understand. Like a lot of these times we watch Jalen Brunson dribble the air out of the ball, and it's like, why is he not giving it to Cat? Like he should know, like if Cat's going, it's gonna make his life easier. So that at that point in time, I was like, man, he's getting it. Like he's finally understanding this, that he needs this guy to be great. And so him making that decision was awesome. I thought it was kind of something that wasn't a big storyline, but I really liked that clip. And then the other thing, man, Cat played really good defense. He only gave up 12 points. He had 10 forced misses, 4 stocks, 3 forced turnovers. Like, bro, he was balling. He was playing good defense, man. So that was huge. Now, there was some things in this game that were worrisome right off the rip. Like a lot of things that we were kind of like talking about. Like, again, like Brunson had a nice. If you just didn't watch the game and you box score watch, like you're like, yo, Brunson had a game. Brunson scored 19 in the first, and then after that, he went 3 for 11, and they put up that wall on him. And the game before that, the last time we played Atlanta, he had a horrible 3 quarters, and then he played well in the fourth quarter. So, and then he ended up with 30 points. So it looked like he's been killing Atlanta. He really hasn't been. Really hasn't been. And you saw that in game 1. The other thing that I didn't like is that we lost. Sorry, I'll pause there. That was like my big thing that I was worried about, was the whole thing with Jalen Brunson and how they were defending him.
Yeah. All right. So let's look at a few comments real quick. All right. Shout out to Jose Garcia. He says Knicks has the under in that game. And then I would really like to see some different subs going into the third. That's from Joe. Jose also said Knicks had the under in game 2. I expect them to win these 2 games. Okay. All right.
Those comments just reminded me of my other point. The no point guard lineup in game 1 struggled. It was not good. That's when we gave up the lead and let them back in the game, and things got scary for a little bit.
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
But that was pretty rearing its ugly head from game 1. So like in game 2, I wasn't surprised by it, but what I was surprised was how long he let it go on. That was problematic.
Yeah. So let's talk about that in a second. We need more assists, Xavier said, but we have to have more people make shots. I agree. But more people making shots comes with more opportunities to make shots. Like I always say it, like if you're sitting in a corner for like 14 minutes and all of a sudden you get the ball for the first time, like, yeah, it might happen. You're probably going to miss a shot. Like even going out and playing street ball, what do you always do? You go out there and everybody's like, let's get a few shots up. Let's warm up. Let's do this. Yes, they have warm-ups before the game, but then when you're out on the court for 8 minutes and the ball hasn't gotten in your hand to shoot, you start to cool off a little bit. So missed shots are okay as long as like they're good shots. So my thoughts on that game, first, it was weird because it was the tale of 2 halves. Okay. You had Jalen Brunson in the first half just cooking. Then you had Cat in the second half cooking. But I like that both were able to contribute when the other one wasn't. Like, I think that is so important. So if I think of like some of my favorite music albums, okay, Black Thought, but not Black Thought. You have Black Star by Talib Kweli and Mos Def. You have 2 of the best MCs. Okay, they each know that they can lyrically cook, like, but they don't have to be so polarizing on the project because it's about both of them winning. The project being done in excellence as the two of them, not as the one of them. But how many times have you seen artists collab or, put out a project together and it feels like it's a competition on the album? That's not how it should feel. And in game one, it felt like a Black Star kind of album. It felt like a Meth and Redman kind of album. It felt like that. It felt like an Outkast album where you were looking at both of them being able to contribute when the other one wasn't contributing. So that was my favorite part, was being able to see, hey, JB doesn't have it anymore, but Cat does, and them running things through Cat and allowing Cat to actually cook. I will say, I was thankful that even though our assists were so low, JB at least had 7 assists. I like to see him closer to that 10 number. But when he gets to that 4 number is when I really get pissed and frustrated, when it's 4 and 5 assists. So he at least had 7 assists, even if people weren't shooting the ball, like we said. He also had 5 rebounds. Like, that's a great way for a short point guard to be able to, contribute. Is he got 5 rebounds. That helped us a lot. And so when we look at what else he was able to do in that game, I feel like when you look at Mikal Bridges in that game, you can look at the 11 points and get frustrated. But I would say don't, because he has been a living nightmare for Dyson Daniels. Dyson Daniels scores a lot more throughout the regular season. Dyson Daniels contributes a lot to them. He had 4 points, I believe, in that game. Okay?
Yeah.
4 points. To hold Dyson Daniels to 4 points is no easy task. And so shout out to Mikal for that. The 11 points, let's man up, get some more points on the board. But keeping Dyson Daniels to 4 points is pretty huge. The big factor to me, those games, like you said, is the bench. When Landry Shamet is giving you 3 points, like, that's an issue. When Miles McBride is giving you 6 points, that's an issue. When they're allowing Mitchell Robinson, who they've been feeding a lot throughout the regular season, and then all of a sudden he gets, how many points did he have? Like 6 in that game? Oh no, not even 3 points. Like, there's nothing happening really when it comes to our bench in that game. And so the facilitating is such an issue off of the bench, like such an issue. And if you go back the other night, I was on the post-game show. We were chopping it up on the KOT chat, and they were like, yo, hop on the show. So I hopped on, and we were talking about what things could be done. Like, Mike Brown needs to see that there's a facilitation issue right now coming off the bench. And that's on him to make those changes. Because, one, you can do what Tom Thibodeau did last year and have one of your starters play decent amount of minutes, stagger his minutes so that he can play with the bench unit and facilitate. Josh Hart could do that perfectly. Josh Hart could play less minutes with the starters and actually come off the bench, play time off the bench with those guys and keep things rolling. Same thing with Tyler Kolek. Like, if you see we have a facilitation issue and we have one of the best facilitators in a bench unit and yet he's not getting any burn, that's an issue. So I was glad to see that we won that game, but there were still some question marks on why they did things the way that they did things. And also, I don't think we're going to win this series without a little bit more from OG Anunoby. Like, OG's Anunoby's got to be, a little more aggressive so that he can free up Cat and free up Jalen Brunson. Like, that's why we got those guys. Bring the pressure to you as well. Shout out to my guy right here, Danny Landis said, salute Phil, what's up, bro? Hope all is well. We need this next game. I do think we need it, but I feel like some people, especially on Twitter, were like, if we don't win this game, it's over. Like, I always said it was Knicks in 6. Like, I always said it was Knicks in 6. They're on a high right now because of how they played against us in the Garden. So if we lose one in Atlanta, I wouldn't be surprised if it was that one. So So I'm not like, jumping out the building like, oh, it's on fire, we're done. We need this game. Like, I don't think it's a back up against the wall kind of thing, because I do think that we lose one in Atlanta and make it go 6, but we'll see what happens, right? And then we're going to talk about this right here in a little bit, Joe, when we talk about this next game. But I completely agree with you. Hey, shout out right here. Carbon Intellect, peace and abundance. Apollo and Al, shout out my guy, appreciate you.
Carbon.
Phil knows I'm a big fan of Jeremy. 33 points against the 23 Hawks. Sohan.
He's a Jeremy Sohan fan.
I gotcha. I like Sohan. Like, bring him in. Like, I'd bring Sohan in for a lot more defense as well. At the under in game 2, I expect them to win these both games. All right. I agree, Jose. They were the under, but I don't believe that they'll win the next 2. I hope I'm wrong, but that's just my my thoughts. Shout out to my guy Prezi. He said, "Salute to the hard way, big guns, Phil all caps." Now from Harlem, Hulk, smash that like button. Let's run up the subs to 10K. Knicks nightcap to the world. Yo, if you guys can, us at KOT, we're trying to, keep this thing growing. So if you haven't liked or subscribed, please do so. Super chats are always welcome. All of us got mouths to feed. Al's got a new baby. So if we could start like bringing in some super chats, I ain't gonna throw it away, like bring it on, bring the super chats on, and if you're like, I don't want to feed the monster that is YouTube, I understand. Don't worry. You see that little barcode up at the top now? That is called Buy Me a Coffee. And it doesn't allow YouTube to rob us of any money. It actually sends it straight to our account with a smaller fee. And then we got ways to feed our families. All right. So let's see what else we got here. Carbon Intellect, we gonna win this chip. I sure hope so.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
So. And because listen, we have to do the show regardless through the end of the the finals, because we booked all these whiskey brands, so we're going to the last week anyway. So rather it be covering the Knicks than just talking about the what ifs. All right, let's see a few of these others. Joe said great points. Appreciate you, my guy. All right, guys. Any thoughts on Mike Brown's coaching in that first game?
In the first game?
Yeah, in the first one.
Not that I can remember. It's kind of a little bit too far now for me to really think about it. But I would have liked to see one of the guards off the bench play. One, Tyler or Jose. Yeah, and he played Jose the second game. I think he did, like you said, did he realize that there wasn't any ball movement? I think he tried that a little bit in the second game. It didn't really come to fruition at all. But I don't know, man. It's sometimes I just wonder if there's more to the bag. Sometimes you wonder, like, does he have anything up his sleeve? And sometimes I do think that he's a really good mind with certain things, but sometimes he can be really like, how can I say, timid, you know what I mean? And not really putting his foot down on certain things or calling a timeout, like, at certain situations, like, hey, listen, man, like, fellas, let's get it together. Sometimes he calls a timeout when it gets bad. Sometimes I feel like you gotta pull that string a little early. Sometimes when these guys start to lose a 15-point lead, or which is starting to become a thing, but nothing in particular that I can remember outside of just no really ball movement off the bench.
Yeah. All right. What about you, Al?
I think it was clear in game 1 that we were laser focused on stopping Jalen Johnson. And we pretty much had him in jail all game. And it was also evident that McCollum was kind of getting off. He was, he drew Brunson. It was clear that we were going to stick Brunson on him and live with the results. And I was okay with that. I was like, yo, McCollum, he hasn't really won anywhere. Like, when has he carried a team to a victory like that? Like, I'm not buying it. He's 34 now. Let him do what he got to do, and we just stop everyone else. Like, we held Nikhil Alexander Walker to under his points total. So we were doing a good job defensively, and I thought the scheme was paying off. Now it kind of flipped in game 2, but yeah, that's kind of what stood out to me.
Yeah, and one thing I saw, and to your point about CJ McCollum, I think that's something that Mike Brown needs to be looking at tape right now. Because though he's never won anywhere, he also played alongside Dame, and he knows how to win. He's been shooting like Dame in these last 2 games. Like it's been McCollum time. It doesn't flow off the tongue the way that Dame time does. Too many syllables for it to be catchy, but it's been McCollum time. And so I think what Jose saying here, right? Mike Brown doesn't seem to micromanage the end of games. I think that unfortunately goes also hand in hand with our guys don't know how to close out games. Like our guys are for some reason it feels like we're going 95 to 100 miles per hour in that second quarter, some of the third, and then all of a sudden we're doing what we do in the fourth and in the first and starting to retract again. And so I don't know what's going on with the guys, and I'm hoping they have a come to Jesus moment over these next few days, because something needs to change going into Atlanta. I will say that in that first game, shout out to Jordan Clarkson. In 11 minutes, shot 66%, gave us 8 points, as well as 2 rebounds and an assist. That's the only guy that's contributed. This is one topic that I want to talk about. All right. And then actually we'll go into the first pour because Apollo's got to have the pour and then leave in a little bit. Which one you want to do, Apollo, while you're on the show?
Let's do the mulberry jam.
Okay. All right. So let's pour it up. And
damn, I don't know what I asked for. 115 proof.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be nice though.
All right. So this right here is a single barrel Peerless selection. And this right here, y'all can see it. Boom. All right. And the side right here says mulberry jam. All right. So this is a single barrel. I'm excited about this one. Kentucky Peerless is actually one of my favorite brands. And so it was actually originally founded in 1880s. And then with everything that happened and stuff like that, it stopped and then it resurfaced. It got relaunched in 2014, and they're based out of Louisville, Kentucky. And small batch bourbon, rye whiskey, and limited single barrel selections like this. Their craftsmanship is through the roof. Like, they are absolutely incredible. And they have so many award-winning ryes and bourbons. And the thing I like about them is that there's some brands that I'm like, man, I love this, but I was not a fan of this, and this. But that is never the case when it comes to Peerless. I have been a fan of every single Peerless that I've ever tasted, like every single one. And so what I love about them is they are a grain to bottle distillery. So they mash their own grain. They ferment everything on site. They distill all of their own stuff. They age and bottle in-house, and they never used sourced whiskey. It is all their stuff. So I absolutely love it. What did you say the proof is? 115.5 proof. So if you guys are ever, and I mean like ever, in Kentucky, like, you have to go visit their distillery in Louisville. Like, it is in downtown Louisville, just outside of like the main strip, and the people are incredible and the pours are phenomenal. So we're gonna do this little mulberry jam and see what we think of it. And so shout out to John for this bad boy. This might be even a distillery only release. So, so we get a little bit of a little hands-on, but either way, their single barrels are crazy. So let's get a little. Ooh, that smells like candy.
Yes, it does.
Oh
It
my
does.
gosh. I'm looking forward to this. All right. Any questions you guys have about the distillery? Since John's not here, we'll talk more in detail, obviously, when he's here on that episode. But
Is there an age statement on this?
I don't think so. I don't think there's an age statement at all. Let's see. Nope. No age on this one. Single barrel selection. No, I don't see anything. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So this is strictly sweet mash. Smells so fruity, like it's crazy. Like now I know why they call it mulberry jam. It smells like jam.
It does. It literally does. Oh, this is so viscous. It's so nice.
Oh my gosh.
This is 115, 118 proof.
Yeah, it drinks
115,
so.
115, yeah.
Apollo, it drinks so.
Balance.
Yes.
Come on now.
I love it.
Come on now. Don't play with me now.
Love
Don't play with me.
Oh man, that's hilarious. My guy Joe, I see you. I'm gonna throw that open panel thing right after this pour. Man, that is so good. I actually wanted to say smooth, you know.
I just knew this was gonna be good. All right, what kind of jam are you tasting though?
So I make cocktails with berry jam, and that's what it tastes like to me. Like either like a blackberry jam or
That's what I was gonna say. Blackberry.
yeah, it's like a blackberry jam. Because I don't know if it's like blackberry because I'm also tasting like some of the other notes, like a little bit of caramel in there, like the typical bourbon caramels in there. And there's a little bit of that spiciness that gives you a little bit of a bite. But this is crazy. So now when I'm tasting it, and I'll let you guys talk, and then I'll say this, and then I want you to let me know what you think. I'll go to you first, Al. What are your tasting notes on this?
I was getting like a fig jam kind of note. That's the jam that I was getting. I kept thinking like Fig Newtons. I love Fig Newtons too. That's the main note that I'm getting. You get your typical like caramel, brown sugars, and all that. But the fruit that I'm getting, or the jam that I'm getting, is that fig jam.
Okay. All right. What about you, Mr. Apollo Reed?
Like I said, I'm getting like it's definitely a jam, like for sure. It's definitely a jam. I'm getting more like a blackberry jam kind of taste. When I was on the scent at first, I was getting cherry. So I was kind of looking for that in the taste, but it wasn't cherry. But it was more like a berry kind of taste. And like you said, of course, you get the typical caramel in there, but Fig Newton was something that I wouldn't have thought of. So that was a good one as well. But yeah, I'm getting like something more blackberry on the palate.
Okay. All right. So I want you guys to close your eyes and take a sip. Something that I got when we were talking about it was, you guys still hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, it's frozen, so I was just checking. Take a sip and think of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah. But peanut butter and jam sandwich.
Yeah. Peanut butter and blackberry jam sandwich.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can get there.
Yeah. That tastes like a liquid version of a high-end restaurant's peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Not like here's your bag lunch because I forgot to cook for you, like peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but like all right, I paid $10 for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. This better be good. And then you got it
Right.
and you're like, dang, that's a good peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Let me
Yeah.
get another. So yeah, that's
That's
absolutely delicious. Shout out to Peerless. Shout out to John and the team. This is, man, I don't even know. Like, this is at least an 8.5 on my scale. Yeah, this is around 8.5, 8.7 on my scale, which is very high because I typically rarely ever get into the 9, 10s. Very rarely. So yeah.
And just for clarity for the people listening to us, like, this is not, we're not, when we say peanut butter and jelly, we're not talking about like screwball peanut butter, like flavor whiskey. Like, it's not gonna taste like that. It's not gonna taste like that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is incredible. And I will say, I had one which I pray I asked John for it for this next episode if they have any more. But they're single barrels. Once they're gone, they're gone. So this one's like in the archives. But another one that was in the archives was a Kentucky Bourbon Fest only release. And I'm so mad I didn't buy it. I wish I would have just bit the bullet and purchased it. But I thought that I would be able to get my hands on it like a week or so later, and it was gone. It was one called Orange Wafer or something like that. And it was like a vanilla wafer mixed with creamsicle. Like, it was seriously, like, for me, that was like a 9.4 on my scale. Like, which I barely.
I noticed you like the orange zest creamsicle vibe.
Yeah. Like I love a lot of other things too, but if it tastes anything like that, like the citrus and vanilla combo, like I'm a sucker for that. Like, full on sucker. And that was probably one of my favorites that I tasted that had that, like Redline has a really good one as well. But I think one of my favorite was that one. So shout out to John. Appreciate you so much for this pour, bro. This is going to be something that I love to share with friends as we watch some Knicks games.
Yeah, and for another thing for the listeners, as you were mentioning, like, you wish you would have bit the bullet and bought that version. Like, Peerless is on the premium side of like cost, but their stuff is worth it. Like, they make really good bourbon, so their bottles are going to be like high 80s, $100, but like, they're definitely worth it. So I know sometimes when you see a bottle and you see that price, you think twice about it, but like, this is one of them ones that it's going to be good.
Yeah. It's like anything, like you'll see some, like if Dunks were $180, you'd be like, nah, bro, I'm not paying $180 for a pair of Dunks. But people don't bat an eye when they release a new, certain Jordan, and it's like, oh snap, that's only $210. And I'm like, what you mean it's only $210? Your nasty smelly foot's gonna be in the same one that the $50 Dunks would be,
Crazy.
So it's crazy. But that's how this is, and this isn't even like considered high-end pricing. It's just like good whiskey pricing, and it's worth it, like absolutely worth it. A brand that is so experimental and intuitive, but they are also like doing everything in-house. Like that's incredible. And to get this kind of flavor out of a single barrel, like, it's not even a blend. Like, this is a single barrel. So this is like, just mastery. So I love it. These guys are incredible. Like, one of my favorite brands out there. So pumped to have John on one of the upcoming episodes, because I just want to hear more and more and more about their process and everything like that. Because though I've been to the distillery, I haven't been able to do the distillery tour because we were in a rush, but I will be going back this September and spending some time with them all. So shout out to them. All right, cool. So Apollo, you got about 8 minutes left. Before
you checking the text.
Yeah. So I'll let you talk about this next game before Al and I go through the breakdown of that last game. Do you think we get the W, or do you think we maybe walk away with an L?
I think we get the W because we usually respond well to a loss. I hate that it takes a loss for JB to wake up, but he usually wakes up after a loss and he's like, you know what, I gotta be better. He does just, the typical I gotta be better talk. And then he plays the game that the way it's supposed to be played. So I just a few things I wrote down. OG and Cat, they have to be way more aggressive. You know what I mean? I think there's and people talk about JB has to get them the ball. There's minutes that JB is not on the floor, and I'm watching them, and they're not being aggressive, and it's frustrating because it's like, what is the excuse now? You know what I mean? OG took 9 shots in both of these games. We need more from you, OG. You know what I mean? Like you can't blame Jalen for the minutes that he's not on the floor. So. It's really frustrating to see these guys not take advantage of some of these matchups. And and the way I look at it, if I see a double team on Jalen, like I'm going like get Cat the ball first of all, because I believe he's going to have the biggest mismatch at any point that he's going to be on the floor. He's always going to have the biggest mismatch, especially against this team. So there should be no reason why we're allowing Jalen to get trapped and he's throwing the ball and the ball circles around and comes back to Jalen. Like what is going on here? Like there has to be some kind of assertiveness, like give me the ball, let me work. So I just want to see that. And they allowed 42 points in the paint in the second half of last game. That can't happen. That cannot happen. So I think if we fix those things, defend the paint, spread the rock, even when Jalen's not on the ball, like on the court, the bench minutes were terrible. They were just terrible. They weren't good. So it's these other guys who are starters have to be more aggressive, especially when JB's not on the floor. So I think we get the dub. I think the the Knicks fans travel. But I do think Atlanta is hype, especially after winning one on the road. But I think this is a game that we should not struggle with this team. Let's be honest. Like if we play the way we're supposed to play and we swing the rock, there shouldn't be no reason for us to lose. So we need to take advantage of the opportunities that we have each time that it happens, and get Jalen a little bit off the rock a little bit. And coach needs to be a little bit more innovative with his strategy in terms of his rotations. They just got to be better. They have to be better with the guys that are out there. I think 9 guys the first game, 10 guys the second game, which is cool. But mix it up a little bit more, especially if the bench isn't giving you anything. So that's just pretty much where I have where it stops. I don't want to guarantee a win because Atlanta feels emboldened right now. But if we do what we're supposed to do, this should not be more than a 5 to 6 game series.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. There's so many things that you talked on about Karl-Anthony Towns that are so crucial for the rest of the series. Mm-hmm. So crucial about how him and Jalen Brunson actually activate one another in the fourth quarter. It can't be a one or the other fourth quarter in any of these games. Like that will cost us the game if it's either Jalen Brunson or Cat instead of Jalen Brunson and Cat. So I agree completely. Thank you, Apollo, for your awesome takes as always. Please be safe going out there tonight. If you need anything, hit us up and let us know that you got there all right, because we know it's a far drive.
Yeah, I mean, I clearly won't be driving, so
yeah,
that's fine. I hear what you guys taking drinks, but just gonna make this as quick as it possibly can because I still gotta go to work in the morning. So it's what it is. I had to come talk next with you guys. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
have a good one. Shout out to the chat, man.
Good night, man.
Hey, buddy.
Talk to you soon.
Peace.
All right. So Die Piston said, if we lose, Phil, nah, bro. There's no way I'm shaving my beard, bro. I haven't seen my beard in years. My wife married me without a beard, and then the last time I shaved my beard, she said, "I don't want to see your chin again." Like, so she loves my beard now. She doesn't, and I feel like a different person now. I look at photos from before I had a beard, and I'm like, nope, never happening again. Like, no
That's
way,
hilarious.
like straight up. So 15 points in the fourth quarter can't happen again. I agree. I appreciate your thoughts and everything like that. Someone asked me where I got this hat, so I want to give a shout out to my guy, the Brooklyn Dreamer. I'm posting his link right there. This is where I picked up this hat. I also have a hat of the Jalen Brunson 3, but it's a Mickey Mouse hand. Brooklyn Dreamers put out some really dope merch, so please check him out. I just posted it right there. I'm going to post the open panel chat now that Apollo had to leave. If people have thoughts, they want to come up and talk about what Apollo and what Al and I are currently talking about, feel free to. We want anyone to be able to come and chat. But before we go into the next topic, I don't know if you guys know, but I know content like this is easy to digest, but people still read in this current day and age. Like, as crazy as it is, there are things to actually still read. So I am posting this right here, and it's the latest Substack from our guy, Lee Escobedo. If you don't know, Lee is an incredible writer, like absolutely incredible. And he's been just getting opportunity after opportunity after opportunity over the last few months. And so we want to support him and we want to keep pushing what he is doing. So please check out his Substack. Here's the link right there. That'll give you some reading material when you're on the toilet later on today. So without further ado, Al, let's talk about this last game. All right. Because I think it's important to talk about that game before we can talk about what this series looks like moving forward. We lost 107 to 106 in a game that was so in our grasp. And honestly, it left me super frustrated. And if you guys want to see a good time of good friends fighting, watch the episode of the KOT show after that. It was pretty much me and Lee versus everybody else. Ryan G kind of like hung out in the middle and laughed about things, but it felt like it was like me and Lee's thoughts versus B and Jay Ellis's thoughts. And I'll share what those are when I share my thoughts of the game to see where you guys in the chat fall, whether you fall with the wisdom of Lee and I, or if you fall with Jay and with B on their takes. But it was absolutely funny because Jay was like, "Let me cook," and I'm like, "How you gonna cook? Your oven doesn't even work." Like I was passionate. We had just lost the game. It was right after the game, so I had a lot of things to talk about. Right here, I'm still pushing for the Latin Assassin show. I don't know what the format should be, but Jay Ellis, make it happen. Hey, maybe next year. Maybe Jay and I will come out. Maybe me and Lee will come out with a show called The Latin Assassins, and him and I will, speak about Knicks and all that stuff. Lee, if you're watching, let people know your thoughts on doing your own show. So, Al, what are your thoughts on that game?
Real quick before I get into the game, I've been reading Lee's Substacks. Not a big reader, but his Substacks are short, quick, and brief. Like they're like 3 to 5 minute reads. And he just makes it so easy to read. He's like, it's exactly the way he talks when he's on the pod. Like he just is so like eloquent, concise, and like very easy to understand and follow with the point that he's trying to make. So that article that you posted, I read that this morning, and I reposted it on my Twitter. It covers like adjustments that we should make heading into Game 3, and I think it's just really, really well done. So highly recommend. Yeah. While you have a couple of minutes on the think tank, just pop it on your phone and just take a quick read because it's a good read.
And you know what I love about Lee's writing is like it's very thought out. It's not just let me throw this together because it's my article. I want to get it out. Like for some, like I don't know how he does it. He has enough time to completely articulate his thought and write it the night of the situation. Like me, I'm like, let me think about it. Let me really get a thought out process. But he just is able to like knock it out the park, real simple and real easy. Let me repost it because I'm seeing Die Piston said he can't get it going. So here's another link. Let me know if this works or not. And we'll go from there. But we will talk about this right here. All right. We will talk about this right here. But Al, I'm gonna let you cook and I'm gonna bring up Joe real quick. Joe.
Yo. Thanks for having me on the show, guys. Salute to you, man.
Of course, bro.
Always good having you on the show, man. Always good having you on the show.
But this Substack, I just opened it up. This is awesome.
Right?
Everything that I've been thinking about the past couple games, it's all here on the Substack, and it's all laid out for me, man.
Nice.
And there's something here that I see that I just want to say off the rip. Heliocentric offense, a system where the offense revolves almost entirely around one primary high usage player. Hey, man, you can't get any more spot on with that. That's all I gotta say.
And we're gonna let you get your takes off in a second because I know you got some like wisdom bombs to drop. So I'm gonna let Al talk about his thoughts from this last game, and then I'm going to allow you to as well. So
awesome,
Al, I'm gonna let you drop your bars real quick. Give me a second. I'm gonna switch up the whoa. That's not what I wanted to do. All right. I'm trying to blow you up real quick. All right. Boom. All right, Al.
All right. Here we go. All right. So, guys, this is another game that we were in complete control again, right? Like, we had no business losing this game. We lost this game by 1 point, and we missed 10 free throws. You can't do that in the playoffs, man. Especially those 2 crucial free throws that OG missed. Like, not enough people are talking about that, too. Like, OG usually clutch, man. Like, what the hell? He took a dive there. Like, who's it? Yo, investigate OG, man. Make sure nobody's in his pockets, man, because those 2 misses were weird, bro. I don't know about that. The other thing is we lost the turnover battle. You lose the turnover battle in the playoffs, you lose the game. It's usually how it works. It's one of the things that I mentioned. This is how this team, the Atlanta Hawks, play. They want to turn you over. They want to get out in transition. And they couldn't do that in the first game, right? We won the turnover battle, but in the second game, they were able to impose their will on that, and they won the turnover battle. They had fast break points, and then it led to us ultimately losing. The other bad part was the no point guard lineup was horrible again. They were horrible in the first game. They let him back in the first game, and then they did it again in this game in the second quarter. They let him in. They let him back in and let him take the lead. And when all that was happening, I'm like, yo, Deuce was playing horrible. I'm like, what are you doing? He threw some nasty turnovers. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, and I was calling for Alvarado because it was clear we needed a point guard. So I'm like, yo, put in Alvarado. And he finally subs in Alvarado, but he pulls Shaman instead of Deuce. Now, Shaman hasn't been playing well, but I thought Deuce was playing particularly bad that game. Like, with the turnovers that he had, like, I'm like, yo, what is going on with you? What are you doing? So I was kind of like, I was already like, what is going on with Mike Brown and his decision making? Like, he shouldn't have subbed out Shaman. He should have subbed out Deuce. He was the one that was playing really, really bad. But whatever. Then the next time that he brought in Alvarado, I think Deuce wasn't on the floor. He had Shaman in, and they actually played worse in the fourth quarter. So my theory kind of goes out the window. But we need to get that second unit corrected quickly. And I think he's probably going to put in Alvarado. I wonder who's going to lose the minutes. Like, who do you guys think is going to lose their minutes? Because I think either Shaman or Deuce is going to lose their minutes. And I'm just going to say, last year, they're both playing bad. But last year, Shaman has some really nice playoff moments. Deuce has always gotten cooked in the playoffs. Every year he's played in the playoffs, he's gotten cooked. So, and I know everyone is a Deuce fan. We love Deuce. I get it, but I don't know, man. I wouldn't care if he tried it without Deuce and put Shaman and Alvarado in the second unit. The other thing that kind of really pissed me off and it drove a lot of people crazy was, we watched Mike Brown experiment with lineups all year long. Like, bro, you experiment with lineups all year long. We have a million different lineups. And you wait till game 2 to play a lineup that has played 0 minutes together. Bro, that's insane. That's insane. Like, you cannot do that. That is not acceptable. Like, that one really pissed me off. And then the other thing is, like, I got a lot to get off on Mike Brown because I gave him an A. I gave him an A for his regular season performance. And one of the things that I said that I didn't like about him is, like, the team lacks a little bit of toughness and killer instinct. That's one of the things that I wanted to see from the team. We won game 1, and going into game 2, I'm thinking I want to see our killer instinct. Going into game 1, this dude Mike Brown is in his press conference eating cookies, joking with the media, playing Cookie Monster. Like, bro, I don't want this guy leading my team into battle. I need a hard driver that's gonna get things done. Then I'm watching his press conference today. Dude is joking around with the media about math and some stupid nonsense. And I'm like, yo, bro, like, first of all, this is serious to me. I don't know why you joking. You're way too jovial for me, bro. This is serious for us. Like, get serious and get the team serious. Like, I don't understand why you're joking around. So your nonchalant attitude in game 2 drives you to call our second to last timeout in under 3 minutes. We had 3. If you guys don't understand let me explain to you how the timeout situation works. Once you get under 3 minutes, you lose all but 2. You get left with 2 timeouts. So if you have 4 timeouts and it goes under 3 minutes, now you have 2 timeouts. You lose 2 of those timeouts. So you might as well use them. So we had 3 timeouts going into the 3-minute mark. He could have called a timeout and still had 2 timeouts if he called it before it went under 3 minutes. Bro, he waited until we went under 3 minutes. Now we only have 2, and he called the timeout like right under 3 minutes. It's the stupidest thing ever. It's like, you and your staff are not understanding the situation. Your late game management is horrible. It's horrible. And it takes me back to your jovial, nonchalant attitude that you're portraying. Bro, get serious about this, please. Because, like, it's serious for us. All right? Those are the things that kind of got me really worked up about the game.
All right, so to what you were saying, the one thing I want to first say is I think it's more of a uncomfortability, like, this is awkward kind of joking situation. Like, at the end of the day, think about it. Like, how many times have you been in an awkward situation and instead of just embracing the awkwardness, you kind of joked it out, and made a joke about it?
How many coaches, championship coaches that have won chips, have you seen act like that in press conferences? For the most part, they're stone cold dead serious guys.
They are. But here's the thing. Tom Thibodeau was stone cold dead serious, never won a thing in his life.
Yeah,
It doesn't make you a winner. At the end of the day, personalities are personalities.
It just drives me the wrong way, man. I
understand, but I think one thing we have to realize is the reason we all talk about how it looks like James Dolan it's either championship or players and coaches are getting fired. We know that because it's out in the media. It's already been talked about. So who do you think is someone that takes that the most serious? The guy who makes his career off of being the coach. He knows that if there's no production, he's gone, and he knows that with, not being able to bring other teams to a chip previously, that this is another thing that would be against his record moving forward to be able to, continue getting good jobs in the NBA. So if anybody understands the seriousness of it, it's the guy who could lose his whole career on it,
True.
So at the end of the day, I want to see changes. He at least acknowledged that a lot of the loss was on him and not exploring the right explorations the right way in that game too.
I was worried that he didn't I don't think he will ever come out in the media and be like, I shouldn't have run that lineup out there. But it kind of seems like he's gonna go ahead and run another lineup out there without Brunson and Cat again next game.
Al, just to clarify, can you give me the lineup real quick that has played 0 minutes? Just to clarify.
Yeah. I got you right now. Hold on, I got it.
Because
right
I'm
here.
really curious to see what this is. Because this
The
is a horrible
lineup. The lineup is Alvarado, Clarkson,
Alvarado,
Bridges, Anunoby, and Robinson. They've played 0 minutes together.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. You know what makes that lineup weird? It's the two bench players, Alvarado and Clarkson, and then mixing it with Mikal Bridges and then Mitch. It seems weird to me. I don't know.
You know what's crazy about game 2? You know who had the worst plus minus of the game for the Knicks?
I didn't look at it, to be honest, so I don't remember.
This is a stat that a lot of people dismiss when it doesn't fit their narrative, but bring it up when it fits their narrative. But it's Mitch. Mitch was minus 10. I don't know how.
Oh yeah.
It was because he played 18 minutes. They tried the whole hack-a-Mitch thing on him earlier.
It does seem to me like they're taking him out of the game a little bit.
Well, that's we have to play counter to that, in my opinion. That's Mike Brown's job. If we can force the other team to get themselves into foul trouble, why don't we do that? Because it works in our favor. I don't care if Mitchell Robinson's going to the free throw line if he makes 1 or 2. If we can get them in foul trouble and then pull them out, and then we got our other guys in, and they start fouling us again, we're better off.
Well, to Mike's credit, he didn't pull Mitch when they started the hack-a-Mitch situation. He actually let Mitch stay out there, and it did cause them into foul trouble. The only problem is that we weren't taking aggressive and smart shots. Now they're in foul trouble. We're not even getting to the line, which is asinine.
Yo, the chat got me cracking up, man.
Oh yeah, the chat's going nuts on Mike Brown.
They're talking about Mike Brown with his mouth always open, his mouth breathing behind.
Well, Al, you brought up such a good point, my man, and I didn't know this, but the fact that we lost the timeout because he didn't call it at that certain 3-minute mark, and it made us go from 4 to 2, and on top of the fact that we're not using our challenges to regain a timeout, it's showing me that Mike Brown has a little bit of a problem with his coaching style. We can't have that. We need Mike Brown to be coaching in a way that's going to help us. He needs to call the timeouts in the certain positions, when we're going to get out there and start moving again. But also, he needs to call challenges when Jalen Brunson is trying to draw an offensive foul and he doesn't get the call. That happened in the first quarter.
Dude, timeout management is coaching 101, man. You have to know all situations.
The only thing I'll say about the challenges is, how many times have we seen a coach use a challenge early and for some reason or not?
And that's why they didn't do it, Phil.
Exactly. Lose the challenge.
What is our record in challenges, though?
I don't know. I think we're pretty good.
He's one of the best coaches doing it.
It is. So that's why I'm saying he's got a team that looks at that and helps him with it. So, if they've been right as much as they have been as a coach, I would assume, that if they're saying this one's not worth challenging, there's still a slight chance that they'll call it the other way around. That would be egg on your face if it comes to the fourth quarter and the game's on the line and you can't challenge a call that could have been the deal breaker. So that's a very, very hard one for me.
Good point.
The one thing I'll say about what you were saying with rotations and stuff like that, I'm at least glad that he brought in Jose Alvarado.
Me too.
Alvarado did not have the greatest of numbers, but he played 8 minutes. He didn't score, but he had 3 assists and he had 2 rebounds in those eight minutes. So his 3 assists in 8 minutes made him the third most contributor in assists in the whole game. So you come in and you play 8 minutes, 8.5, almost 9 minutes, and you have 3 of 22 assists. That's impact. That is impact. And he can at least facilitate. And so who he was playing with was not the smartest situation.
Yeah, he needs to play with Cat. He plays good with Cat.
Exactly. But
we saw Cat in him.
The fact that he came in was promising. Because, listen, I know this is going to ruffle some feathers with fans that are watching either now or on replay gang. But in my opinion, these two games have solidified that Miles McBride will not be getting the bag from the New York Knicks.
He's not. I wouldn't give him
I
the
don't
bag.
think so.
Like,
Listen,
love Miles McBride, but the way he was playing in the season before his injury, that made it to where if he played like that coming back into the playoffs, he would have been solidified a bag. But he has been Casper the Friendly Ghost of the New York Knicks. He has been like unable to really contribute offensively, and defensively he hasn't been bad, but with his height, they can still shoot over him. So he's been limited in the impact that he can have with us. So for us, he has solidified that, like, nope, if you want a bag, it's not happening in New York. Like, it's just not. It would seriously take miracle games moving forward, night in and night out, for the rest of the playoffs, where we only win the chip because of what Miles McBride did. And I don't see that happening.
Even when he was cooking in the regular season, I thought he was pricing himself out, but I was happy about it because I know the fan base loves McBride. We love a good underdog story. He's a 6'2" guy, it's a David and Goliath kind of thing, like a short guy wins, blah, blah. Look, my thing with him is like, if you're going to be 6'2", you have to run point. You can't be a 6'2" wing. The wings are the longest like guys on the court right now. You're a 6'2" wing, 3-and-D player. Like, you're not a point guard. And he has shown us time and time again that he can't run point. So if you're going to be a 6'2", 3-and-D guy, you need to be paired up with a tall point guard. And we don't have that here. So it's a clumsy fit with New York. He needs to go to another team that has a tall point guard that he could be paired up with over there. He probably fit great with Detroit. He'll land on his feet somewhere else. He's a good player. He's a talented player. It's just not a good fit here. He helped us win a lot of games, and that's cool, but he hasn't been a playoff performer for us. And again, he's not playing point. He's not able to play point guard. So unless we magically get a tall point guard out of nowhere, he's a clumsy fit here. Look at how short we are, guys. We need to get taller.
Yeah, I agree with that, but here's the thing. If he came back and played the way that he played, I was fine with the contract he was going to get because he came from the New York system, but he also was putting in that work. And I think that the Knicks would have given him the money. Like, I really do. I think he would have been a solidified contract before he was,
Well, they were saying he was going to command like 20 mil.
Yeah, and I think that they were going to figure out a way to do it. Like, I really do. But playoff contributing factors really will determine, if you're worth that bag, because you can help us win 10 games in the season, but you cost us 2 or 3 games in the playoffs. Those 2-3 games are way more important than the 10 games that you put the team on the back during the season. Because we're already here. We probably would have still been in the playoffs without your contribution of those 10 games where you were the difference maker, but if you're the one that's not bringing us any production, like, you already are not a facilitator, as a point guard, yet now you're not scoring. And now you're too short to be the elite defender off the bench. All those things play a factor in whether or not you're going to get the bag. But let's talk to Joe real quick about his thoughts on that last game, the pros and the cons, and then I will go into our next pour before we actually talk about my thoughts on that game.
All right. Well, for the pros last game, even though Brunson didn't show up at the end, he still had that big shot to make it 107-106. And I know a lot of people are killing him because of the ball movement and everything. He went 10 for 26. It's not very good usage, but Captain Clutch still had a clutch shot. And if Mikal Bridges hit that shot at the end of the game, we have a whole different story we're talking about.
Hey, Joe, let me ask you this. Do you think that Mikal could have made it to get a layup to the basket?
That's a good point that you brought up, Al. And I'm going to tell you no. And the reason why is because when Mikal Bridges went up for that shot, he had 1.1 seconds left on the shot clock.
I thought he could have made it.
He had more than that.
When the ball released from his hands, I saw 1.1. What do you got, Phil?
That's when it released, but he did a
Yeah.
step back fade. So
he did do it.
he actually turns his body away from the basket and then fades. So when you look at it, where he actually starts that transition is the amount of time that you have to give someone to get to the basket. And so he would have had enough time to at least go towards the basket and get contact. So, or even fade into the basket with less time and draw the foul, because two of the defenders were still behind him when he started that step. They did not fully catch up to be in the paint until he started his step back. That step back takes time. So I do believe he had more than enough time to drive to the basket.
Yeah, I mean, I was just kind of going off of like when he released the ball, and I saw they had 1.1, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, there's no way he can relocate in that amount of time. But on the other hand, man, I would have liked to see Josh Hart. He had the ball off the rebounds, and he's our best transition player.
That's the other thing I was thinking about. I'm
If
like,
Josh
Josh
Hart
have made it to
goes
the basket?
coast, yeah, man, that's an easy bucket for us, and we could have won the game.
Yep.
I mean.
But the defenders were in front of him, though. Like I think Mikal might have had a little bit of a better angle to get there.
Well, let's watch. Run it, Phil.
Let's watch this real quick. All right. So McCollum hits this.
Boom. Right there. So I'm talking about.
Look, Josh Hart, I think, made a wise decision.
Yeah, he was on forward
here to here, that is too much time.
Yeah,
I think he's got two defenders beat right here. If you look at it, Josh Hart could have got through 3 and 5, and then NAW would have had no idea to get through.
But
how much time was it? 4 seconds?
Look at Johnson. Johnson's a good defender. Johnson's watching Hart.
Yeah, he would have met him.
McCollum and Dyson are both beat in this situation, in my opinion, with Josh Hart.
But Jalen Johnson would have met him.
Jalen Johnson would step up. And here's
and that leaves Mikal wide open.
It does. But here's the thing. Look at Dyson Daniels. Dyson Daniels is right there. So I believe he passes McCollum for sure. Yeah, but Dyson's ready to step right in front of him.
Yeah, so he was probably going to try to strip him.
If Dyson steps in front of him, there's only 4 seconds.
Are we in bonus at this time? I think we are, right?
Yeah, I
but
think
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if we're in bonus because Dyson could step up just to cause a delay. So you have to go from here to here in 4 seconds.
If he gets fouled at half court,
it's faster. It's faster to move to pass the ball like up the floor than to dribble it up the floor. So I think that's what he was thinking.
I understand if it's a team of mediocre defenders and you think, oh, they're gonna try to like strip him. They're not trying to strip him. Dyson Daniels is a genius defender. Like Dyson Daniels is really great at defending. So he would have just made it to where it stops time. And then Josh would have to try and then pass, and that would be no time for Mikal. So if you look, this right here gets the ball from here to here with, let's look at the amount of time. So it's 4.1.
4.1. Don't start it yet. Don't start it yet. Don't start it yet. No. Go back.
Okay.
So book to have a second.
At 4.1, right when he went to pass it, look at Jalen Johnson, right? You see where he's facing? So after Mikal catches it, he has to open up and turn around.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying Mikal could have beat him. Beeline to the basket because this dude was changing directions.
Yep. But that's the thing, is he never had the intention to go to the basket.
He's the softest player in America.
Well, let's finish watching, okay? Because I think it's very important. So he gets the ball right here, okay? 3.2 seconds, okay? Look, he
hesitates right here.
One foot is in the air because he's having to turn. This is where he can dog. Look at the open. Look at the open right there, okay?
Just
so
beeline.
Mikal, look,
a little hesitation.
Mikal slows down, okay? To figure out what he wants to do. You see that stutter?
And then steps back. Yep.
That's a stutter step.
He had time for sure. He had time.
And
he had to.
So he already started a step back. He starts the step back here at 2.6 seconds. Gives him time to start. See, he's not even fully turned yet. Look at that. He's going from half position on the defensive end because he can go up from half. He can't follow Mikal from half because Mikal still has the open hand right here. So look, Mikal is still in front of him. He's in front of Dyson. He's in front of McCollum. They do not get to the paint until he hits that step back. Even there's 1.6 seconds after the stutter step and the fade. So, yes, people are like, oh, there's only 1.5 seconds. Yes, but you have to go from right here at 2.4 seconds where he starts a stutter step because that takes off. Look at that. That was 4 seconds. Even more than that. 2.4, dribble back. So 2.4 to 1.4. A whole second comes off the clock with that stutter step. So people were like, if he had 2 seconds, he did have 2 seconds. The only reason he didn't is because of the stutter step. So for me, he goes for it.
That's my boy Latrell Sprewell. He's going right to the cup. Right to the cup.
Yeah. And I believe I want to back Bruce right here. That was my take earlier. Kolek should be playing off the bench. There's no reason.
That was going to be my next point.
When you see a facilitator like being our issue, oh, Shamit's not working. He's not facilitating. Oh, so-and-so's not working. The reason that the minutes for Jose Alvarado were better than all of those guys was because he was a facilitator. He played 8 minutes and had more facilitation than Landry Shamet, Miles McBride, and Carl Anthony and Jordan Clarkson in 2 games in that 8 minutes that he played. And Tyler Kolek would have more facilitating than all of those combined in both games. So for me, that's a trade that a change that needs to happen. But I'll let you finish.
But it's either gonna be Alvarado or Kolek. I don't think it'll be both. So you got to pick.
Well, yeah, that's
the thing. There's more than enough minutes. Like Landry Shamet played those minutes without contributing. He still played 9 minutes, even though Alvarado played 8. Miles McBride played 13 minutes and contributed no assists, contributed no steals, contributed 2 turnovers. So if Miles McBride can get 13 minutes, give him Miles McBride's minutes.
Yeah,
all of that.
Go ahead, Al, I'm sorry.
I was going to say all of that experimenting in the regular season and developing guys and getting them ready, like it's kind of for these moments right here where it's like if you're not getting something from these guys, you feel comfortable pivoting to your other guys because they've shown throughout the course of the regular season that they can step up and handle that. So I want to see, like, again, in the regular season, Mike Brown, he did a great job of developing our guys, experimenting with different lineups. I want to see him do the right thing in the playoffs. And one of the right things is not trying a 0-minute lineup in the playoffs. So maybe Kolek is the answer. I wonder if he'll pivot or if he'll just keep with this no point guard lineup again and again and banging his head against the wall, because I think that's one of the things that he kind of did in Sacramento. Like he didn't make enough adjustments. So we'll see. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, yeah, I mean,
keep talking about Sacramento, and I want to make a very clear distinction. When you don't have any elite legendary stars, that are considered the greats on your team, and you play the great in Steph Curry, you're good. There's a huge chance you're going to fall short. Like at the end of the day, you're also going against Steve Kerr, who has proven to be an elite winning coach. There's no excuse to compare the two right now. You have 2 guys that are considered elite in Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. Okay. Mm-hmm. And also you are not playing a award-winning coach in Steve Kerr, So I'm not going to compare those 2 series. I believe that right now the coaches are pretty even. And I believe roster-wise, we are the better roster. A lot of this also falls equally on the team. I'm not saying Mike Brown's innocent because he's not. But the team is also equally responsible for the lack of effort and execution, hands down. There were some bum plays. And when I give my take, I got a lot to throw up because even though it's been a few days, I still feel like I'm as passionate as Lee and I were on that first episode. So, Joe.
Yo, shout out Lee, man. He's the man, yo. I love that Substack article he put out, man. It's got some really awesome stuff in there. But no, man, I mean, I'm just going to say it again just because I want I just want the chat and anybody who's listening to this video, man. No Kolek, no cup, and no cat, no ring. Straight up. You know what, man? Cat, he's gotta be more in the front of the offense. He's gotta get involved, man. 8 for 12. You're playing way too well to only get 12 shots, my man.
Facts.
Brunson's got 10 shots made. He's got 26 attempts. Come on. You know,
Yeah.
Cat, I want to see what Cat can do with 26 shots. We're not going to lose a game.
Yeah.
If Cat's shooting like that. Like, come on,
Yeah.
man. We got to see this earlier and make the adjustment. Like, we've been talking about this all season with Cat. You know, trying to get Cat the ball. And it's like, you know, there's a narrative, oh, well, the Cat's not getting the ball because Brunson isn't passing it to him. I don't think that's the problem. I think it's more or less, you know, there's times when our offense is set and their defense is on top of us and Cat's got the ball and he defers. You know, Cat needs to be more aggressive. I like when he drives to the basket. When Cat drives to the basket, nobody can stop him. He's got a little finesse with his arm. He does a little chicken wing, and then he gets through the lane, and he beats the defender. And guess what? We need him to draw that foul call because when he gets to the free throw line and gets that and one, that takes all the momentum out of the other team. Because our offense right now in that fourth quarter, what we did was I'm going to get the ball. I'm not going to pass it a single time, and I'm going to brick it. The defense is going to get it and run it down a transition. And it happened over and over in the fourth quarter, and I hated seeing it. I'm like, guys, we got to move the ball. We can't just take one, not even pass the ball once and take a shot, brick it, and they get the rebound. Hey, man, I don't think that's good basketball. I just don't.
You know, I think that's such a great take because, you know, part of the reason you saw Cat go off and, you know, my guys, the captain on Twitter, made a great point was Cat's elite quarter, he played his least amount of minutes alongside Jalen Brunson. That's a factor. Like, that's a factor. When the guy that you need to be such a contributor has his best minutes when your main guy is off the court, that shows maybe the talk is a little more just talk than reality. You know, like they talk about after that first game and even the games to end the season, like, yeah, you know, like we're looking out for each other, you know, whatever it takes to win. But then you have moments like that last game where you go, why did we not go with Cat? Like, why was there no contribution to allowing Cat to be the guy? And bringing in Kolek minutes, who he's a pass first guard and not a shoot first guard, is elite basketball for a guy that needs assists and then will get the easy bucket. The Kolek Towns minutes to me seem like 3 cherries on a jackbox. I mean, on a jukebox. Like, that is the way you win a game. That is the way you win the bonus. That's the way you win the Vegas slots is 3 cherries. And I feel like that's what that would be with Karl Anthony Towns and Tyler Kolek. A guard that doesn't need to score and a center that, if you facilitate to him, is going to cause havoc. So for me, that's the perfect scenario. But we're going to go into the second pour real quick before we go into my thoughts and my takes on that game and then talking about the upcoming game. I want to give a shout out to everyone in the chat. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button.
Chat is lit.
Yeah,
chat is lit.
I'm posting the open panel right now. I would love to hear some of these actually on the show, not just in the chat. So if you guys are bold, come on up, talk. You see from Joe, camera is not required. You can do this on your phone. Feel free to come up and talk your talk. All right, bro. It's high ride time. All right.
Let's do it.
All right. Here we go.
I've been liking the high rise. You told me that I would like them, and you have been correct. Can you explain to me high rye again and low rye? Because I thought high rye would be more rye and low rye would be less rye. And I told you I lean a little bit more towards bourbon than rye. And then you were like high rise.
Yeah. So in a low rye, it's 0 to 10%. Okay. So they're sweeter, softer profiles. They're rounded. They're easy drinking. The thing about high rye bourbon is that you get some of the like rye notes because it's a higher content of rye. It's like 15 to 35 plus. And so it kind of just depends on the distillery. So you get more spice and you get more bite, but you also get more flavors than just typical bourbon flavors. You get introduced with some of the flavors that you would get from a rye. So the reason I thought that you would like a rye is because as someone that's not a full-on like I love rye drinker, but some of the complexities of a rye are something I thought you would like. It's a little less a little less sweet than the others, but it brings some of those like herbal and pepper notes. So it gives it a little bit more of a punch. It's a little bit bolder of a pour. So low rye is like preferred for something smooth, smooth sipping, easy. High rye is for like someone that's really into whiskey, and also pairs really well with like a cocktail that you want to spice it up. Like I love old fashions, but sometimes they're too sweet. Boom. Throw high rye, and now you get complexities of different flavors, but it still keeps the bourbon old fashioned kind of flavors in there. So
I love when bourbons are complex. That's what I love the most.
Exactly.
When you're getting all types of notes, that's awesome.
Exactly. So this brings out flavors that a typical, bourbon would not bring out. So it brings new complexities to your bourbon. So let's give this one a shot. This one is their batch 5, and it's 109.5 proof. This is one of their most, more stable, like on the shelf. You can find it pretty easily on their website. And so let's give this one a go. I'm just looking for something real quick.
Well, I just smelled it, and on the nose, this smells like a rye. This smells more like a rye than a bourbon.
Yeah. So let's give this a go. I gotta pop mine. Let me show it to everybody in the chat real quick to see what this one looks like. If you find this at your local liquor store, it is a buy every time, in my opinion. I will post the link in the chat, but let's give this a pour. Just cleaned out my glass. All right. Let's go. Let's see. Yeah, it does smell like a rye, but you get like things that I love. There's definitely citrus zest in this. Dark fruit. Some like sweet grass, kind of like the seagrass that we had last week from Barrel Proof. It's got some of that like earthy smell to it as well. And you get the leather and the oak. You don't get that in most just regular bourbons that aren't finished or don't have, any high rye complexities to it. But you get that here in that high rye, which is awesome because I love bourbons that have an oak leather smell to it and taste to it. So let's see if it actually curates that to the taste, because sometimes it's just on the nose but not on the palate. But either way, I would turn this into a candle and burn it every single day at my house. All right.
I noticed the color of that bourbon is very distinct. I wonder if that would translate through the taste. It looks almost like a maroonish color.
Yep,
like
it's very dark. Yep.
Like it's starting to like purple out for me.
Yep. It's a dark pour. To those of you that are watching, if you are getting into whiskey or, drinking, I tell all the guys before we do this, some people are like, oh, it just burns when I drink it. That's why I don't drink whiskey. Well, it's not that the whiskey burns. It's that you don't know what you're doing. And that's okay. Like there's always somewhere to start. Whiskey, if you just take it, is going to be a burn all in your chest. You're not going to get any flavors, any notes, anything like that. The proper way to drink whiskey, shout out to my guy Shane, he used to like teach some courses on this as well, is when you smell it, you get all those flavors, move it to both nostrils, you'll get different flavors. But then when you're done, inhale and exhale all the air out of your lungs completely. Like once you get the air out, it's not going to oxidize and cause that crazy burning in your chest. So when you take that sip, there should be no air in your lungs whatsoever. And that'll allow that'll allow you to get all of the complex flavors. So always you'll see me and then I keep on breathing. You can breathe once it's in there, but once You know, it's all out is when it's safe to take that pour, because then you don't get any of that burn. It doesn't go down the same way, and you get all of the flavors. So shout out to John again at Peerless for this amazing pour. Al, I'll let you go first.
One thing you forgot to mention is you're also supposed to like swirl it around your mouth a little bit, like let it sit on your tongue and then swallow it. And that also will help bring out a lot of the notes as you drink it.
So a lot of times
you're not just slamming it like bang. You know?
Exactly. When you're first trying to learn how to do it, one thing I always tell people when I'm doing like a whiskey tasting or whatever and teaching people how to drink whiskey is I say you have to have a pre-sip, like very, very simple pre-sip. Put it just in your mouth just a little bit and kind of like chew on it like it was a piece of bubble gum. Like, don't take a big sip because you're going to waste it the first time you're learning how to do this. Like, let it sit in your mouth for a second, just a small little swiver, get it on your tongue, and then take a bigger sip and kind of figure out what's going on there. So I always actually, when we're doing like whiskey courses, my guy Shane does this as well, is you have them do it with water. Learn how to do it with water before they do it with whiskey. So you're not just trying to take a sip like you normally would with everything else. So
yeah, the second sip also burns less than the first sip. So like if you're trying a whiskey, you have to at least commit to like 2 sips of it before you can give it like your review, before you can say like I like this or I don't like this. You have to at least have 2 sips of it.
So Al, now that you didn't know that, completely exhale and give it a sip.
I'm getting raisins, kind of that Fig Newton taste again.
Okay.
I'm getting some of the leather notes too. And then just overall, like their bourbons have really nice viscosity. How do you get the viscosity? Is that, I thought it was like an age thing, but I don't think it is, because this is another like 4-year-old bourbon.
Yeah, something like that.
The viscosity is always nice, man. I like the viscosity. It just feels like oily and not just like watery. So it like more of the flavors just stay on your palate and it lasts longer. So really well done. I like this a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a good one. I definitely get, some of the orange notes. I get some like tea. I love tea. I'm trying to stop drinking coffee because it doesn't really make me feel like it gives me the energy, but it messes with my like stomach and everything like that. So I'm trying to get off coffee and focus more on tea. And so I get some of those tea notes, which I really have been enjoying. Like you said, it's a thick, oily feel on the palate.
I did get some of that rye spice too. I forgot to mention that. I definitely did. That's definitely there, but it's not like a big rye spice. It's just there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you get it more on the finish. So on the actual sip, it's like oak. You get the oak from the barrel, but you also get like burnt sugar. So think like not the flavor of a creme brulee, but the burnt sugar that's on top of a creme brulee. Like you get some of that. And then on the finish, when it's coming to the end, that's when you get the leather tobacco notes that I love so much. You get the earthiness and you get that warm spice. So the high rye, for this one, you get the rye notes at the end, which is really pleasurable for someone that's a bourbon drinker, because everything is a bourbon experience till the end. And then you get the things that you love about a rye towards the end of the palate. So I love it. It's a great finish.
So I had their double oak before. I think around Christmas, I had their double oak. I like this better. I like the high rye better.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
And we're going to do the toasted oak bourbon and rye. So you'll be able to taste the differences between the high rye, the toasted bourbon on the next episode. But yeah, this is a absolutely delicious pour. Like, it's such a good high rye. I love it. I think it's really something that I feel will always be on my shelf. Because I feel like if I want to introduce people to ryes, this would be the one that gets me there, gets me to introduce them so that it's not too rye forward. but it's not so absence of rye. Like some high ryes, you're like, wait, there's rye in here, and it's like, well, that doesn't help someone transition. That's just like giving them another bourbon. So this is like the perfect gateway from bourbon to rye. It's absolutely delicious. Let me look at what this
I'm
one.
I'm gonna be on the lookout for more high rise, man. You really put me on to these. I'm really enjoying these.
I love that. I love that. Let me see what this costs, just so I can let the chat know. And what did you think? Like now that you actually like did the exhale, did you feel less of a burn? Did you get a little more of the flavor?
Oh, definitely less of a burn. I don't know if I picked up more flavors, but definitely less of a burn. But
Okay.
I don't know because that was like my third sip, so
Yeah,
it might have been because of that.
Yeah, but no, the fact that it gives you less of a burn allows you to enjoy the flavors more.
Appreciate the flavors. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Because if it burns so much, you're not really focused on the flavors because you're like, ooh, that didn't sit, well with my chest.
Seasoned bourbon drinkers like the burn. They call it the Kentucky hug.
Yep, the Kentucky hug. But well, no. So that's the difference. The Kentucky hug is not the ethanol burn in your chest.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Understanding. The Kentucky hug is the spice hug. It's the warmth. It's the I get a little bit of rye spice here. That's the Kentucky hug. Is like
no one likes that ethanol taste.
Exactly. No one likes to punch in the chest. Like nobody likes that. Like you're fighting if you punch me in the chest. But if you hug me, well, cool. Let's hug. Let's hug it out. So let me see what this MS's MSRP's for. This goes for MSRP.
Quick update: Pistons are about to beat the Magic 98-83.
All right. So shout out to the team because they actually sent us a bottle that ain't cheap. Some people like to send cheap bottles. This one goes for $144. So
no, are you serious? Wow. Why I always like the expensive stuff? See, when I got the double oak was like $90.
Yeah,
of course I like the expensive one.
Here's the thing, a good whiskey collection has a bunch of everyday sippers. And then it has the ones that it's like, I paid for this and I share it with people that I know have the same affinity for whiskey with me. Like there's some people that come over and they're like, what do you want to drink? Like, you have anything to sip on? Cool. I'm bringing out the Buffalo Traces. I'm bringing out the $30, $35 bottles. I'm not bringing out the Peerless High Rye because they're not going to appreciate it, So this is the kind of bottle that you invest in because it's going to be there for a while. You're not just sipping it every single day. You're sipping it sparingly. You're enjoying it and stuff like that. So shout out to them for sending this. This is an absolute freaking delight. This was delicious. That mulberry jam thing, like, I don't know how
that was awesome.
Made me have a peanut butter and high-end jelly Michelin star restaurant kind of.
It's got like that jam color to it. It looks great.
Yeah, no, it was great. That was really good.
This was seriously a crazy pour. Like, I'm gonna, on my social media account, I'm gonna do a review of just that one because it was seriously insane.
I mean, I've been around a lot of like alcohol people, being like a bar porter and AC and like just like being around the bartenders. And I'll be honest with you, man, I've never heard anyone tell me, yo, before you take a swig of that, hold your breath and it'll get really burning your chest. Like that's that's some next level stuff. So salute to you, fella.
Thank you, bro. It's so funny because like, even people that watch the show, they're like, man, Phil's going to be lit tonight. Phil does not get drunk. Like, I just love the craft of whiskey. Like, to me, the flavor profiles and everything like that, and like just knowing my limits, and knowing me and my wife's standards of like where alcohol can be in our house and where it can't, like it can be, enjoyable. It can't be an idol. It can't be something that I rely on, like for me, if I actually have a bad day, some people are like, man, it's been a bad day. I need alcohol. I'm like, no, if I have a bad day, I'm not having alcohol, because I never want alcohol to be something that I rely on for a good day. Like for me, alcohol is, man, it's been a good day. Let's share a pour together, and me and my wife will sit down. We'll talk about life. We'll talk about kids. We'll talk about like what we're doing in this next season.
I like that.
For me, it's not a substance of like escape. It's a substance of celebration and enjoyment, because when you go the other route, that's where addiction can come in. That's where reliability on a substance can come in. And I never want something that I enjoy as a craft to ever become something that keeps me from being the husband, the father, the man of God that I strive to be. So for me, whiskey is something that's enjoyable. It's a craft. It's something I love. But you will never see Phil sloppy. That's just, a standard of Phil Porto and the Porto household. But yeah, so I do know a lot about whiskey. It's something that I do on the side. I do a lot of social media content for different whiskey brands. So I don't flex on here of like what I know. It's just been a long experience of getting to know spirits and getting to know brands and what they do best and how it's best to enjoy. So hopefully that helps somebody. But let's go back to Knicks talks. It's a perfect transition. Talk about my thoughts of that last game. That last game, I'm going to echo my sentiments and Lee's sentiments in the KOT show. Mike Brown choked. At the end of the day, you choked.
Yeah.
Some of those rotations were abysmal. Like that one we talked about earlier, like within 35 seconds, you should have been like, yep, this sucks, and changed it up. Like, take out certain people. Keep Alvarado. He's the only one contributing. Figure something else out. Everything else sucked about that rotation.
Yeah.
Should not have been out there. Not making some assertive moves, not calling out certain players in the middle of the game for costing us the game. That's poor coaching. Like if I'm a coach and I see that we could go up 2-0, I don't care what player you are. If you are costing us the game, I am going to call it out. Like at the end of the day, I'm going to pull you aside and say, yo, get your crap together, or I don't care how much money you make, you're going to sit on the bench. Like it's just the bottom line. I do not want to go down 2-0.
Well, Phil, let me cut you off real quick and I'll give it right back to you.
Yeah.
This was the first time all season that I felt that, we need to get the starters back in. Like, I want to see the starting five. Like, This was the first time I really felt like we need to put our guys back in. I don't know how you felt about that, Phil. Sorry for cutting you off.
Yeah, and here's the thing is I don't even care that it was our starters because I felt like the game was so close that like I wanted our starters to be fresh when they came back in. But it was exploration early in the second quarter. Let's do it. Exploration when we're already neck and neck and you're bringing in players that you don't know if they're going to actually produce. Like you did not bring in the players that like would be beneficial. At the end of the day, Mikal Bridges was not giving us anything in the second half that made you go, ooh, I want him in there offensively. Like, okay, I understand he was doing well defensively, but OG would have been the better option to play with that unit. Like having OG and Mikal alongside of, Jordan Clarkson and Alvarado. Why? Because we needed physicality. And Mikal's not going to be a physical player in any way, shape, or form. So how do we make sure they foul? Bring in a more physical player. How do we make sure that like we have a confident shooter from all areas of the court, the 3-point line to in the paint? Bring in OG Anunoby as opposed to Mikal Bridges. So I think that was just a miss on Mike Brown's part. I think it really, really was a swing and a miss, and I was frustrated with that. Jalen Brunson, I hate to say it, I love Jalen Brunson. Look, I'm wearing a freaking Brunson hat. Jalen Brunson cost us the game. Like, there's no sugarcoating it. Like, there's a difference between being a clutch player and being a selfish player. We've seen Jalen Brunson be both. We've seen him be clutch, and we celebrate it. And then we've seen him be selfish and cost us games. That game, he was selfish. Absolutely selfish. He cost us the game in the fourth quarter. Okay.
He forced the issue a couple of times too and got blocked or like
he
turned
did.
the ball over. Like
he was 3 for 8. He had 10 points, but it was on 3 for 8. 37 freaking % shooting. And here's the thing: if your whole team sucked up until that point, I understand. But Karl Anthony Towns had one of his best quarters in forever, and he helped him get 0 points in that quarter. Like
0.
You are not going to win allowing your hottest shooter in the third quarter to get 0 points. Karl Anthony Towns should have been more involved in that. He shot 2 shots in that fourth quarter after having the best third quarter.
Unbelievable, man.
In the team. It's abysmal. And it happens because Jalen Brunson decides to go, hey, I can do this. There is no I in team. We've heard that since I was freaking 4 years old.
Yeah.
Played my first little pee-wee basketball. Like, there is no I in team. That was a choke on Jalen Brunson's part. It was one of the worst second halves I've ever seen from Jalen Brunson. Like, absolutely abysmal.
I want to say something about that. It's so interesting that, man, I wish it didn't happen, but now that it's happened, it's so interesting because I watch so much Knicks content. I watch all your favorite Knicks podcasters, and when the Memphis game happened, when Brunson didn't play, and we came on here and we were like, "Oh my God, look at how much the ball moved."
Oh
this
yeah, I
and
remember that.
Like, there was a ton. All your favorite Knicks podcasters were scared to mention Brunson and say like, "Yo, maybe he does ball hog a little too much." We were never scared of doing that. Look, here we're gonna have meaningful conversation. We're gonna bring up topics that other people are scared to bring up because I don't know why. No one on the Knicks is off limits to us. Everyone is getting critiqued because we critique because we want the Knicks to win a chip. It's the Knicks. It's not about how much we love Brunson or how much we love Cat or no. I'm not driving a narrative towards either player. I like them both. I probably like Brunson more than I like Cat, but I'm gonna call it how I see it, and I'm not gonna be afraid to mention it because I think, oh, you can't criticize Brunson or else the Twitter streets are gonna get you. Yo, we're gonna call it how it is here on this channel, and we're gonna keep that real for you guys. I'm just letting you guys know we're never scared to broach those topics. But now these other channels, now all you heard after this game is like, yo, Brunson was ball hogging. Brunson was ball hogging. I'm like, yo, when we said it after the Memphis game, y'all was saying that we was bugging. So I just thought that was funny.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, I'll be dead honest with people. Like, before I'm a Jalen Brunson fan, I'm a New York Knicks fan. Like, at the end of the day.
Me too.
If you tell me that we have to pack Jalen Brunson's bags to get a guaranteed chip, all right.
Bye.
What's my flight number? Like, I'll be there. Like,
I don't think it's gonna get that far though. I think Brunson's gonna make the adjustment, man. Like, let's remember who the dominant team in this series is. I think we're really starting to like, not this podcast, but and some other podcasts I've done. Everyone is kind of forgetting, like, we are the dominant team. We are the better team.
We are
by far.
But here's the thing. You've seen more dominant teams lose because of egos getting in the way. It's happened before. Like, at the end of the day, things can happen based off on paper is one thing. How we execute is another thing. Like, we have the best roster on paper. Okay. And I don't think it's going to go to that. But what I am trying to make the point is, if it means bringing a chip to New York, after me being a Knicks fan since I was 8 years old, maybe even 7, and I'm now turning 42 in June, and I've seen no winning from my New York Knicks. If you tell me that the way for me to celebrate a chip is packing Jalen Brunson's bags or Cat's bags or this person's bags, I am on the first flight back to New York on my own dime. The Knicks don't have to pay me. I am folding all their clothes and putting it in their away suitcase and helping them in that transition. I'm speeding up the process because I want to chip.
I'm joining you. Right? I'm joining you.
Exactly. So for me, there's no kid gloves when it comes to any team, any player on the team. I'm a Knicks fan. I'm not a this player fan. So I called Jalen Brunson out because he is my favorite player on the New York Knicks. But that does not mean that his ego does not get in the way of us winning. And his ego got in the way of us winning that chip. I mean, us winning that game against the Hawks. Because if he would have looked and said, man, I'm off first 3 shots, I'm off in the fourth quarter. But I know Cats had the hot hand. I'm going to do everything to do the pick and pop and make sure that we win this game. I'm going to sacrifice my name, my pride, me bringing this to New York, and we're going to bring this to New York. Okay? I looked at an interview from last year where he said, man, I got to be better. Like, I got to learn how to include my teammates better.
I saw that.
And whatever. Why is the same interview happening now in round 1 of this playoffs that happened last year's playoffs? Like, didn't you say you were going to learn that last year? Why are we revisiting that? That's a problem to me. Because if it comes down to game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals or game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, and we lose because you reverted back to selfish, egotistical ways, and we lose, you better not utter out of your mouth, I should have been better. Like, I should have included my teammates more. Because that's going to piss me off. Like, I might knock on your door, Jalen Brunson. Like, even though you're my favorite players, we need to talk in person.
Yo, Phil, just remember what Jalen Brunson's stats are a game after a loss in the playoffs. He's averaging 31-something points after a loss. And last year around this time when we were playing Detroit, we went into Detroit and we took both of those games.
Yeah, and I understand that.
We did.
But here's
good point. Good point.
Here's something to think about. In a 7-game series, there might not be the chance to redeem yourself after a loss. Okay? Like, at the end of the day, let's say this goes, I don't think this series is going to go, but let's say we get to the next round. We're playing Boston, okay? And we're down, and Jalen Brunson reverts to that mode in the game that we need to stay in stay in contention. You can't go, yeah, but Jalen Brunson does best after a loss. Well, guess what? He can't do best if he's hanging out in Cancun, because the season's over. At the end of the day.
This is hilarious.
I'm just talking about this next game coming up, this game 3. I'm feeling really good about it.
What I'm saying is don't do better after a loss. Do better before a loss. You know what I'm saying? Like, what helps us win. Our team is almost unbeatable when we have 30-plus assists in a game. Yep. We are almost unbeatable. I think it's 85% win ratio. So, to me,
love that stat.
If I go, I'm the starting point guard, 85 point whatever percent more win ratio, if we have this many assists, I'm going to include my teammates because I know the winning recipe. Like, when you don't know what gets you from A to B, I understand messing up and going the wrong way. But when you know how to get to B, and that's where you want to be, and you don't do that, that's frustrating to me. That's very frustrating. So to me, Jalen Brunson choked.
Let me ask you a question, Phil. Do you think it was more Brunson going, I want to beat CJ one-on-one and like just take the team out of it kind of thing? Or do you think it was more just less Brunson choking? What do you think? Do you think the reason why he went into isolation mode was because he wanted to send a message directly to CJ, like, you're not beating me in this series? Or do you think it's more or less like Brunson just had a bad choke job?
No. It's always, if you look at history, I've said this for 2 seasons. If the best player on the other team that game is a point guard or a shooting guard, Jalen Brunson takes it personal, and he competes against them.
Yeah,
always.
Yep.
Always. Yep. He's done that against Cade Cunningham. He's done that against SGA. He's done that
with TJ McConnell.
Yep, TJ McConnell. He's done that when Trae Young was with the Hawks. Like, if their point guard is the star, he always tries to match and say, I'm the better one on the floor. And sometimes he proves that his ego gets in the way and they end up looking like the better player that night. So if you look at the Hawks games that we've lost, who was their star that game? Alexander Walker, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, and Jalen Brunson went for a tit for tat. You see it against Luka. Him and Luka go tick for tack. When we lost that last Lakers game, it was tick for tack. It was all smiles. Mm-hmm. In the fourth quarter, it was, I'm going to prove you wrong. And Luka rose to the occasion. Jalen Brunson didn't, and we lost. And so when you play a team that their guards are not their elite player, but it's their small forward or their power forward, or even their center that are like the center point of the team. He doesn't do that. Like he doesn't. Like you go up against the team, let's think like the Nuggets, where it's Nikola Jokic, just balling out of control that night. You don't see Jalen Brunson trying to go bucket for bucket with Nikola Jokic. He doesn't, because there's nothing really to prove there.
Yeah, you know what? That just reminded me, Phil, that you brought that up. Because during the game in game 2, and I thought it really hurt our momentum, Mitchell Robinson walked over, and I think it was Dyson Daniels, just kind of trying to send a message. And to me, I'm thinking, why are we swinging the bat at the Beehive? You know what I'm saying? These guys haven't done anything to us yet to make this a chippy series, but now it has. Once Robinson walked over Dyson Daniels, I really felt like that, because where did Mitch go? He went right to the bench where we don't want him, and they were getting a free shot.
Yeah, that's true.
I did not like that, man. I don't know about you guys. I didn't think it was the time for that yet.
I don't think you need to wake a sleeping giant. Like to me, if something's not being effective, I don't know why you go slap a lion and see if you can wake it up. Like just take your wins for what it is. But here's the thing. I know I just like gave Jalen Brunson a dumpster fire of like emotion, because I felt like he cost us the game, but I don't feel like he single-handedly cost us the game. Okay. You can't blame Jalen Brunson without giving Mike Brown some of that blame, like poor rotations, like we talked about, dumb choices. So he was to blame. That was a choke on him. Our bench, besides Alvarado, our bench completely choked.
Plenty of blame to go around.
Yeah, like the bench was abysmal. Let's look at our bench. All right. So in the whole game, our bench contributed 7 points. That was Jordan Clarkson. Okay. So Jordan did well, 7 points in 11 minutes.
He played well in both of the games. Jordan Clarkson is the best person off the bench right now.
Landry Shamet, a big 0. 9.3 minutes, 0 contribution from Landry Shamet, but 2 turnovers. Okay, 2 turnovers. Miles McBride, 0 points. Okay, and 2 turnovers. Both of them, like, oh no,
we can't play them both. We can't. We got to pick one.
Yeah,
it's obvious at this point.
We both got 2 turnovers and 0 points. Like that is an issue. Okay, and Miles McBride played 13 minutes. Alvarado came in for 8.5, had 3 assists, and 2 rebounds. Those guys contributed nothing from the bench, only Clarkson and Alvarado. So Shamet and McBride are also choke artists in that last game. And then last but not least, well, actually, no, there's 2 actually. Karl Anthony Towns, I love you. You played great in that 3rd quarter. In that 4th quarter, it seemed like he was dodging some of the smoke or not being physical. Like you cannot, as one of the bigs in the league, allowing Kuminga, who just got minutes for the first time all season, coming to the Hawks. He was a bench player getting DNPs as a Warrior. Now he's at the Hawks, and you're making it look like you can't post up against Kuminga.
That was crazy.
Like, I'm not even saying that Jalen would have given him the ball, but at least assert some dominance that makes people give you the ball, because it looked like Kuminga was having his way with Cat whenever he was posting up. And that's an issue. You cannot let Kuminga in the first round of the playoffs dog you. Like, you just can't. Like,
they have 6 guys and we have to match, They got 6 guys coming
Bro,
on.
Me and you could have stopped him from posting up the way that he was looking. He gave 0 effort on that play, bro. Like, that's not acceptable. So, like, I understand when people push back on where you're not getting Cat involved, but I think two things could be true at the same time. Like, if the only way we're trying to get him involved is by posting up, and the dude is giving no effort posting up, then run him off something else, bro. Because like, in that possession right there where Kuminga stopped him, we literally wasted like 15 seconds trying to get him the ball, and then we had to scramble into some other nonsense offense, like, and it just didn't work. So it's like, that's another reason why maybe Mike Brown and Brunson and Josh Hart, like, they think twice about like featuring Cat or calling his number and being like post up because okay, what Cat are we gonna get? Is he gonna get the position, or are we gonna waste 15 seconds right now and this dude just isn't trying to like? Come on, bro. You Kaminga, you push him and you call for the ball, bro. Like it's not hard, bro. Get the position. Like that's not hard.
And that's the thing. Both things can be true. I don't say, oh, Cat didn't get the ball because he wasn't being assertive, because at the end of the day, Cat doesn't need to be in the paint all the time. At the end of the day, Cat can get the ball and the pick and pop. The pick and pop was working in the third. There's no reason to stray away from what's working. They strayed away because Jalen was being selfish. But at the end of the day, if Jalen's being selfish and you're showing, hey, I got Kaminga like looking like my little girlfriend. Like, give me the ball so I can dunk on him. Then that makes Jalen Brunson go, I guess I have to give Cat the ball, even if I don't want to, because that's a guaranteed bucket. But you're not showing that it's a guaranteed bucket. So choke artist as well there. And then the last one, and if you watch the KOT show, it was a split. Me and Lee believe in this completely. And we battled J and we battled B on this one. I think that last play was a choke. I think it absolutely was a choke. We've talked about it all season long that Mikal Bridges is a coward when it comes to NBA basketball. Like he will not draw contact at all.
Toughest player in America.
It's so frustrating because in the first quarter of both games, it looked like he was going to be aggressive. And then he goes back to being a coward when it comes to drawing contact. For me, I understand the step back is his shot. But we've talked about it all season, okay? That it is so frustrating that the step back is his shot when the layup or the contact is the easier play. Like, I don't care if that's your shot. It's your shot because you're not willing to draw contact. Like, you're not. Yeah. Like, so yes, you make more of those because you resort to those, but not because it's the wisest decision at the end of the game. He had enough time to draw contact. 1 point leads us into overtime. Them missing 2 free throws was them handing us the opportunity to go into overtime or to win it, okay? And at the end of the day, him fading away was a choke. It was an absolute choke. And those that are saying that it wasn't, I'm sorry, Diet Pistons, you are my guy, but you are dead wrong in this. We played it earlier in the episode. When he had the ball with an open lane, he still had 2.5 seconds. He lost a full second of it when he did a stutter step dribble to then do the fadeaway. That takes time, okay? So it's not that he had 1.6 seconds, so he forced up the shot. A fade back comes with a step back dribble. That takes time off the clock. He had time to at least draw contact. Dyson Daniels or Jalen Johnson would have drawn contact on him on that play. I don't care if he misses the basket. At least he went for the most guaranteed opportunity to put 2 points on the board.
Bro, 6'0" Alvarado would have went to the rack and drew contact.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, he would have.
And that's the difference in. All right, so I did this on the KOT episode. I'm gonna do it here. Y'all ever seen that movie Minor League, the old baseball movie, where what's his name? What was the pitcher, and he had like the lines in his head and everything.
Wild Thing?
Like that? Yeah, Wild Thing. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. This is exactly what I thought of. No marbles. No marbles. Right? Yeah. That right there was Mikal Bridges in the fourth. No marbles at all.
Unfortunately.
No cojones. All right. So for me, no cojones. Not a single one. All right. His wife needs to realize they are not going to, have kids. He's got no cojones. All right. That must have been a huge surprise on the wedding night. All right. At the end of the day, you draw that contact at the end of the day. Yeah. I tell my freaking 8-year-old, if you have your opponent beat, you do not stop and shoot ever. Yeah. You go up for the layup. You go up for the foul. Like, if I can tell my 8-year-old that, Mikal Bridges should know that by now. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I don't care what anyone says. There was more than enough time. People are like, no. He got the ball off at 1.3 seconds. Yeah, because he dropped a freaking whole second on the clock by doing a step back and then shooting it. That was a dribble back and then a step back shot.
My junior high school coach told me, go get the layup. Even if it's a big man in front of you, 9 times out of 10, they're going to foul you. Like, they're going to end up fouling you. So just go
My
get
thing is, if we were in the bonus, it didn't even matter if he took the shot or not. So, like, he could have just drew contact at near half court or anywhere where he was, and we would have got a call. And we're at the line regardless. I don't know, man.
Oh, time out. I want to show my guy Dive Pistons this. All right, because I don't know if he was here when we showed the video earlier, but I want to show because this shows the position of his defender. Okay. His defender was crazy half and half. He was only able to defend him because of how Mikal Bridges took the shot. If he would have tried to stop him, he would have been halfway and drawn contact easily. So here we go. Let's share this again. All right. We're going to go right here. And let me come here. Boom. Is it showing the... Oops. No, stop sharing that. Boom. All right. Share screen. All right. Here we go. Let's do that play one more time. All right. For everybody. Because some people still think that it wasn't a choke, but it was. All right. Turn off the volume so we don't get hit with that lawsuit. Boom. All right. Boom.
Look right there is when he could have drew the foul. Right here. He's got 3 seconds.
He's got 3 seconds. He's got his opponent on 1 foot. Okay. Boom. Right here.
And he moves away from him. Like, why? Just go into him.
He starts dribbling away from him as soon as he gets the ball. The dribble goes backwards.
That's dumb.
The dribble goes backwards, not forwards. Okay. So, but look, Johnson is still on 1 foot. Okay. Here, he's still half. He's on it. Like, he's still not facing Mikal.
And you can see him like fading away.
Contest the shot, even when he goes up. Look, the side of him. So if he would have dribbled into him, it would have been a guaranteed foul because he was not able to establish position yet. Okay? He was not able to establish position at all. He was on his side guarding Mikal Bridges. And the only reason he was able to defend Mikal Bridges is because Mikal took the shot. And that allowed him to still jump straight vertically because he did not have to turn his body and actually make it a hard shot. So anyone who says, oh, no, he was guarded. No, he was in half guard position. And anybody knows that if Mikal Bridges drives to the paint, that's guaranteed contact. Guaranteed contact. So, no, you cannot tell me that was not a choke. It was a choke by all means.
Yeah, after rewatching this film, I'm definitely going to change my take of saying, you know, I don't. Now I'm seeing this, and it's like at that 3 second mark that you showed me, if he instead of fading away from the defender, he actually tried to draw the contact. I think we get free throws there. I think that was
bro.
That was just bad IQ at the end of the day.
Yep.
Bad basketball play.
Diehard Piston says my screen was frozen. I don't believe it was.
This guy. Right?
Hey, man, I don't mind being wrong. If, you know, we're breaking it down, we're getting it right here on the show. That's what it's about.
Mr. Guy does not want a pill to swallow tonight, but it is the truth. So sip on that whiskey, my brother. I got nothing but love for you, but that is a dead wrong.
Guy, he's hilarious.
But it is what it is, you know, like he had the opportunity. So that was a mad choke for me. If he missed the basket, you know, because it was a good shot, I wouldn't put him in that choke category. But it was a shot that should not have been taken in the first place. It was a shot that he is normally good at, but he's also not a clutch player. Like, let's be real about it. He's had some clutch moments. Most of them are defensively, but he is not. He has not been all season someone clutch, someone that you can rely on to get the basket in tense moments.
And I wasn't surprised that he didn't go to the cup after he stepped back and missed the shot. I was like, I'm not surprised.
Exactly. And so to me, that was disappointing. Absolutely disappointing. I've said that if Mikal Bridges does not show up in the playoffs, pack his bags and get him out of here.
I have a question for you.
I will say this, okay? if I'm going to critique, I'm also going to give flowers. I said it earlier in the show, and I'll say it again. It's 2 games that he has played elite defense against Dyson Daniels. Like, elite defense. Kept Dyson Daniels to 6 points. So shout out to Mikal for that. But grow some cojones if we're going to get an NBA chip. Like, you need to call your doctor and say, bro, I'm missing these 2 things. How do I find them? Like, figure it out. Like, you got to figure out where your cojones are, bro.
What were you thinking as you were watching Jalen? Because you talked about how Jalen Brunson lost us the game, but you looked at it from an offensive perspective. But what were you thinking about? What was going through your head as you kept seeing over and over again Jalen Brunson on an island, mano y mano versus CJ, and CJ just skewering him?
Yeah, that's a Mike Brown rotation. Like, at the end of the day, you got to figure out a way to like control your hot hand. And Jalen Brunson's not going to be that guy. Like, he's just not. Like at the end of the day, Jalen Brunson, is not going to be that guy. Has he played better defensively towards the end of the season than in the start of the season? Yes, for sure. But he's not going to be that guy. I saw someone earlier that said Sohan should guard CJ if CJ is going to have the hot hand, and I agree. Like, the best way to stop a hot hand is to switch it up, make them cold again. Make them cold again. Make them not be able to get that easy shot so that they have to work to being the hot hand again. Because once you go cold, it takes time. So I feel like in some of those early fourth quarter minutes, there should have been a change on defense for sure.
But were you like screaming at the TV being like, what is Mike Brown doing? Like, change it up on defense? Because I wasn't. Like, I was just like, whatever, man. Let CJ do his thing. He's not gonna beat us. Like, him by himself, he's not gonna beat us. And then he beat us. So
that's where I disagree. That's where I disagree.
Well, I feel stupid now.
I've seen enough CJ McCollum to know that this guy can unload the clip. Like, he is an elite 3-point shooter.
Because he was cooking us in game 1 though, and it didn't come to like it didn't lead to a win. So I was like, right, he was doing this in game 1.
It didn't lead to a win because he also didn't have anybody else that was really cooking, like the Jalen Johnson
started going,
but Johnson started going, and Kuminga off the bench at 19.
Kuminga was cooking, bro.
Kuminga was cooking.
But he was getting to the rack.
So CJ alone can't do it, but CJ with somebody else, he can feel that role very, very well. Like, he's having a reviving of his career. Like, a lot of times you see a player get traded and it's like the start of their descent.
Bro, he was a throw-in on that trade. He was a throw-in. Nobody wanted CJ.
But and they didn't even know if they were going to keep him. Like, there was rumors that the Hawks were going to like release him.
That's crazy.
And so the fact that like he is that big of a contributor is insane. So for me, I didn't want to like undermine what he could do because I've seen what he could do. And a lot of times when he was in Portland, I think he didn't get enough of the shine because he was under Dame's shadow. But that's a really awesome shadow to be under. Like, it is a guy that was like one of the best shooters in the league. And so being under him, it has been, monumental for his career, and now he's shining. So for me, no, you don't leave CJ McCollum the cook. I think that's a bad situation because he's the best 3-point shooter on their team. Like, for me, I want to leave someone open that can shoot 2s. Like, if I have to choose,
we should try to make Dyson Daniels kill us because he's a bum.
Who?
Dyson Daniels. We should just try to funnel everything to Dyson Daniels. Like, just give him the Josh Hart defense. Just ignore him.
I don't think he's a bum, but I think that like his main skill set is shooting 2s. So for me,
he's not going to beat us yet.
I want to stop Nikhilus Alexander Walker, and I want to stop
of course, Jalen Johnson.
I want to stop those 2, and Jalen Johnson would be the third one I want to stop because he can shoot some 3s, but he's still going to drive on you. But my whole thing is CJ McCollum's going to put 3 points up every time. That's going to be his go-to shot. He's going to shoot 3s, like straight up. So 3s add up way more than 2s do. So if I'm going to give up a 2, I'm going to give up a 2. I'm not going to give up a 3, but we gave up everything to CJ. We gave him 12 2s. We gave him 3 3s in that game. Like it was just like defense was obsolete on him. And that can't happen going into game 3. Like it just absolutely cannot happen.
Can we get into game 3?
Yeah, let's get into game 3. And then we'll wrap up the night. What is your key factor for game 3? I'll go to Joe first. What is something you want to see, and how do you feel we end up winning or losing that game?
Well, this is a great segue because I was going to bring this up. Salute to Lee Escobedo in this Substack article, because what I want to see change in this game is the way that Karl Anthony Towns is operating when he's trying to facilitate. Like when Cat becomes a hub with the ball and he's got the defender on him and he's kind of doing that thing where he puts the ball in his palm and he's kind of holding it back from the defender. Lee did a really good job of breaking this down here on the Substack article. So I'm kind of just going to reiterate a lot of things that Lee is saying. High post triggers to counter Atlanta's high drop. In game 2, Karl Anthony Towns was effectively neutralized, recording 0 points and 0 rebounds in nearly 8 fourth-quarter minutes. Atlanta's high drop coverage successfully walled off the paint for Brunson while keeping Towns stationary on the perimeter. The adjustment. Use pinch post and zoom actions to get Towns moving. Yeah, Lee, you hit it right on the head. Where Towns is operating right now, he's sitting on the 3-point line. We could move him just a little bit closer and change the diagonal, the 45-degree cuts, and we're going to leave open lanes for our other guys to get easy shots. This game has to be all about getting easy buckets. We need easy shots. I don't know why we went away from the Mitchell Robinson lobs. Why are we not doing that anymore? We might have seen it once in this playoff series.
Yeah.
I need to see that more. So, for me, it's get more easy buckets. Make the game easier. So
yeah, I love that. I completely agree when it comes to the Mitchell Robinson thing. Like it keeps people guessing. It allows there to be contact fouls that we need. And when you were talking about Cat, that's the biggest cluster in my mind. Like it's the biggest thing that I do not understand. Like if you look at how we played the most beautiful minutes of the Knicks first game and the Knicks end of the season was watching that pick and pop actually work. And to not implement that in the fourth quarter is absolutely crazy to me, because it gives Cat opportunities, but it also frees up Jalen Brunson. Like I don't, this is one thing that frustrates me, is like as good of a basketball player as you are, how do you not understand that including your number 2 makes it easier for you as a number 1? Like, I just don't understand how you don't understand that in clutch moments of the game. Like, if they feel like they have to guard Cat, you're going to get easier shots. You're going to be able to produce more. You're going to have more easy looks. Like, but if they feel like you're not going to give it to Cat, why the heck are they going to guard you in the first place? Like, why are they going to, like, put doubles on him if they feel like he's not even going to get the ball? So my whole thing is, I don't understand how Jalen Brunson can see how well that pick and pop works and then stray away from it when the game is on the line. That's crazy to me.
I just don't understand it. I don't understand it.
All right, Al, what are your thoughts?
My bad. All right, I got some thoughts. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I can hear you guys. All right, so I think for game 3, we need to we got to change the McCollum defense. We can't just keep leaving Brunson out there on an island. It's not going to work. He's going to cook him every time. I wanted to think that, like, coming into the series, I thought that Jalen Brunson could handle this matchup. I thought he did all right in the first game. McCollum was getting off, but then in the end, we kind of like calmed him down. But it just went off the rails in game 2. So I think at this point we have to switch up the McCollum defense. It is also one of the things that Lee covers in his Substack, and he has some, more specific ideas with like blitzing or like blitzing him or whatever, like different types of ways to like slow him down. So definitely go read his article. I think we need to change the non-point guard bench lineup. Right. So, and I think it needs to be, actually, I'm not going to say it needs to be Alvarado. I'm okay if he tries Kolick. I wouldn't be mad. I really would not be mad, especially if like we have a lead. Then I would try. I would try Kolick, give him a shot, see how he does. Or if we're like super stagnant, then I would also give Kolick a try. But I'm okay with him, going to Alvarado again. But he has to have a tight leash on Alvarado. So if Alvarado doesn't have it going, then take him out and bring in Kolick. But I think that non-point guard bench lineup, we need to not see it ever again. There needs to be a point guard coming off the bench, period. Okay. The next thing we need to do is we need to win the turnover battle. If we lose, guys, you guys got to understand we are going into hostile territory. I know Atlanta is MSG South, and there's probably going to be a large Knicks contingent there. But is these guys home? So like they are likely to they haven't even played. They're probably going into this thinking they haven't played their best ball yet, bro. Like their best player has not gotten going. So like they haven't even gotten off yet. So like, we definitely got to win. We can't give them extra possessions. Not on their home floor. No way. Got to win the offensive rebounding battle too. Impose our will there. And my last point is, and this is what I'm most worried about. We have done such a great job stopping Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Jalen Johnson. Like Jalen Johnson was in jail for 7 quarters. And then he finally started getting it going in the 4th quarter of the last game. That worries me.
Yep.
That worries me. Because now they're going home. He might have figured some things out. More shots are going to go down when they're at home. Your role players start making shots when they're at home. Nickeil Alexander-Walker hasn't done anything yet, and he usually cooks us. If Jalen Johnson and Nickeil Alexander-Walker go off in game 3, we're gonna lose. We will lose. So that cannot happen. We gotta lock those guys down. I'd rather like change the defense and CJ still gets 30 points, but it's on like, or he still gets 28 points, but it's on like 26 shots or like 30 shots, like something like that. But like, don't let JJ and Nickeil Alexander-Walker go off. That's where I'm at with it, man. Let's hear your thoughts, Phil.
Yeah. So, I hate when Knicks fans are like, oh, it's MSG South. It is. But it is to a point. Yeah. When a city's team starts winning, it changes things. Like it does. Me and Al live close to Orlando. Okay. Look at the last time we played the Orlando Magic. It wasn't as easy for Knicks fans to shine and out chant and out promote the Knicks as it usually was. Why? Because the Orlando Magic are actually a winning team now, and people are like, oh, my team's actually winning. I want to watch this. Fairweather fans start going.
Yeah.
Like Fairweather fans start going to games now. And so you have a Hawks team who made a big change in letting go Trae Young, and it has worked to their benefit. I don't think that we should bank on it being all Knicks fans. Like, especially because ticket prices go up and, the diehard loyals that are local are going to be there. They're going to be there. And some of the Knicks fans that are there that aren't really diehard aren't going to pay for those nosebleeds the way that the Hawks, diehards will pay for the nosebleeds. And so I think we're going to see a lot more Hawk fans in the crowd than we're used to. I don't think that's something that we should bank on. I think that's just stupidity to be like, oh, well, it's home court again. Like, well, that's great. Guess what? We lost home court in game 2. Like, we were home and we lost that. Like, why are we thinking that, like, having a subpar version of MSG is going to be our benefit? Like, it wasn't a benefit when we played in MSG for game 2. Like, we lost at home. So if it's MSG South, that's great. Guess what? We lost at MSG North. And so if that can happen, it can definitely happen in Atlanta. I think it comes down to Jalen Brunson, to be honest. Like, I think if hero ball continues to happen and we have to have another interview about like, oh, I need to learn how to include everybody more. I have to do better.
Yeah.
Okay. I've heard that story before. And now we're losing again, And like you said, the guys that typically go off have not even started to heat up yet, so we have to figure that out, and I feel like that's an unfortunate thing for us and a beneficial thing for them to have the guys that typically don't go off already going off for them.
And the series is tied.
And the series is tied, as opposed to like our guys that typically go off are the two that have gone off, and the guys that typically have not gone off yet, so we're hoping that our role players go off and they're hoping that their stars go off. That's a crazy difference, so for me, I think if we don't learn the crucial lesson that needed to be learned from game 2 of this isn't about Jalen Brunson, this isn't about shying away, this isn't about not being physical. This is the playoffs. You better be physical at the end of the day. So for me, I think that if we lose one in Atlanta, it could be this one.
I'm worried about this game.
I feel like Jalen Brunson feels like he has a lot to prove because he knows he helped cost us that last game. And I don't know if that's going to revert to what we need, which is actual team basketball. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it till I die this season. Okay? Hopefully I don't die this season, but I mean, like, until my point dies this season. I'm going to live. I got more to life than the New York.
Oh. Yo, you froze.
Oh, hold on.
All right, you're back. You're back.
I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face, okay?
Yeah, there you go. That's a better way to say it.
If this team moves the rock, if this team is inclusive, the only team I'm worried about in a 7-game series is OKC. Okay? At the end of the day. If we move the rock.
You cut out again.
Dang it. Check.
You're coming back. You're good.
I feel like in a 7-game series, the only team that I'd be worried about is OKC. But if we move the rock, there's no other team that I feel like can compete with us. But if we don't move the rock, I feel like every team can compete with us because it's locking down a short guard. A short guard's not an issue if the ball is moving. But a short guard that only wants to play for himself and not for the team, that the NBA has figured out. And we've seen that. We've seen teams lock down Jalen Brunson. Okay? That's not to say Jalen Brunson is not legit. That's not to say that Jalen Brunson is not a star. That's not to say Jalen Brunson is not top 10 in the NBA. But that's to say that Jalen Brunson heroics alone are not going to win us an NBA Finals. It's not going to happen.
We should come out and I want to see us play very angry. Where's that bully ball? That's what I'm looking for game 3. We need to show up and really dominate. Because if we show up with this soft brand of basketball and these guys are playing their first home game, it's going to be lit in there. That's not going to work. We got to take them out of their sets. They got to feel us. We got to make them uncomfortable. That's how I want to see the Knicks come out. If we don't come out like that, bro, they're gonna be in the game and they're gonna have a good chance to win it at the end.
Yeah, I agree. Shout out to my guy Die Pistons. He's standing on his not a choke, Phil. And it's funny. Every time he says that, all I can hear in my head is Biggie. The weak or the strong, you got to go.
You're dead wrong. You're dead wrong.
You dead wrong, my guy. And I still rock with you. I still support you, but you are dead wrong.
He's hilarious.
All right. So real quick, guys. All right. This sound is for a meaning. I cannot end the night without letting us close out with the thoughts of my brother, the Latin freaking assassin. All right. My guy, the Substat king of them all right, coming in and destroying Knicks content on all platforms. I'm going to speak my content. I'm going to write my content. I'm going to think my content, and you're going to want to think about it. All right, Mr. Lee Eska freaking Beta.
Let's go.
All right, Lee. All right. So So I gotta say something. Someone said it earlier. They were like, "Yo, Phil, you gotta push Lee on this like Lee show." And I was like, "All right." Well, I'm thinking about it. I was like, "All right, like how can we do that?" And I was like, "All right." So if Phil comes back next year for a content season, all right, I think KOT. I'm gonna say it online right now. Needs to have a show called Knicks Talk with the Latin Assassins, the Lee Escobedo and Phil Porto show. Like you and I, because we've had moments where we have been lockstep and it looks like we're doing a little country jig together. And then there's been some part where it's like, I feel I'm dancing to Michael Jackson and you're dancing to Beyonce somewhere over there. And it's two different beats, all right? But it's always been love. So I think that's got to happen.
I got to be honest, Phil. I'm 100% down with that.
Yes.
I think the KOT family, the chat, I think that our fan base would really enjoy a show between you and I. We're so different. We have such different personalities. You're kind of good cop, I'm bad cop. I think it would work really well with chemistry, and it would be a lot of fun as well because you and I have gotten really close this season since you joined KOT. I'm down, bro. You know how I feel about you, man, and you know how I feel about you and the content.
All right, chat. If you want to see the Latin Assassins with Lee Escobedo and Phil Porto, two Latinos bringing the Knicks content week in and week out next year, you let us know in the chat, and we will make that happen. But I want Lee's thoughts first. Lee, do me a favor before I ask your take on this next game. Can you tell diehard Pistons that he's wrong? Just let him know.
Man, that's actually why I hopped on, because I was thinking about I was trying to figure out, and I didn't have a time when we got into our fight when you and I were on the same side on KOT. It was me and Phil against B, Jay, and eventually Ryan as well. Ryan sided more with them than us. Now, I had more time now, and I was trying to think about it in philosophical terms about how something, a thing, an idea, a person, an object, an identity can only exist in relation to its inverse, right? You can't appreciate day without night. You can't appreciate good without bad. You cannot appreciate a woman without a man. And to me, in my opinion, if that shot that Mikal Bridges would have made, if that shot goes in, Phil, is he clutch? Is everyone calling him clutch? Yes. No one is splitting hairs. No one's getting into a battle of semantics or words or definitions on whether that shot is clutch. Everyone would agree in unison, especially the KOT members that disagree with us that it was clutch. So if he misses, how can it not be a joke when that is the inverse of clutch? If we would admit that the shot goes in, it's clutch. How can it not go in and it's not a
great
joke?
argument? Great argument.
I think that's great.
Argument over.
And my biggest point of it was when I look at our roster, okay? Like, if someone would have passed it to Josh Hart with that amount of time, Josh Hart is drawing contact. Josh Hart is going to the basket. If someone would have given it to Jalen Brunson with that amount of time, Jalen Brunson is drawing contact.
If you would have passed it to me, I would have went to the rack.
Exactly. If you gave it to OG Anunoby, he is drawing contact and going to the basket. And we are on the foul line, either for the extra win or for the tie. So the fact that I can look at every other player, including our Captain Clutch, and say, what would have Captain Clutch done in that moment? He would have gone to the paint because he had
bowling ball right in there. Just
bowling ball straight in. Big body Brunson, big head Brunson to the paint. So I can say that about 3 of our 5 players who have shown clutch moments. Why can't I say that about Mikal? That the step back away, the dribble, his first dribble was away. So if he would have dribbled towards the basket and saw that, oh, crap, I can't beat my defender, I'm going to fade back, maybe a little less critique from me. But as soon as he gets the ball, the first thing you see him do is dribble back and then dribble towards the basket and then step back. He lost time on a dribble back because he was not confident from the get-go that he was going to drive to the paint.
It was very on brand.
It was, I'm going to fade away. It was never an intention to get to the basket.
Yeah,
and to me, that is not clutch.
I would argue that every other Knick would have went to the basket. Bridges is the only one who wouldn't because, as you said, Phil, earlier in the show when I was tuning in as a listener, you said that he just did that. That's his tendency, that he doesn't have the assertiveness. I don't really know. I can't remember the exact word that you used. It was more of an aggression. It was just
lack of cojones.
It's that. It's like the ball is to drive in, take the contact, put your streak at risk, put your body at risk, put your career at risk for the betterment of a team. And I think all other guys on the roster, including Kevin McCullough, including Patom Dadier, including Ariel Hotporty, went to the basket because that is the obvious basketball play to make in that essence. And also, I read the definition on the show at the time post game, and I'll read it in here. This is the Wikipedia definition of choke. In sports, all sports, choking is the failure of a person or a team to act or behave as well as anticipated or expected. It doesn't say anything about shot selection or diet or who's taking it. It is in crunch time. And does that person usually make that shot? Yes. Did he make it? No. It's a choke. Is that Mikal Bridges' best shot in his arsenal? Yes. Did he make it? No. Was it a choke? Hell yes. How can it not be?
Yeah. And so Die Piston said there was no guarantee he was going to get the call. Guess what? There was no guarantee he was going to make that basket. Facts. There is no guarantee, but you go for what is beneficial. There is a huge chance you are going to get the call.
You at home?
Like I showed video. Your defender is sideways. The only reason he was able to defend you was because you shot the ball and he's able to jump up while sideways. You cannot defend a drive to the basket while you are facing the basket. It is impossible to do that. Contact is going to happen. Why? Because your feet are not solidified in any way, shape, or form. And in order to stop Mikal, he would have had to reach in and tried to strip the ball. That is the only way he would have stopped the drive. If Jalen Johnson was facing Mikal with two hands out in a defensive position, it is a different situation. But he is 1 foot behind him, sideways, guarding his guy. And the only reason he was able to contest that shot was because you can still jump up sideways and not have to face your defender. You cannot face your defender. You cannot defend your guy while playing sideways if they are driving to the basket. It's impossible. You're going to trip over your own feet and cause an issue. That's the bottom line.
Let me add some more subtext too. Is that what's an easier shot? A fadeaway midi or a drive?
A layup, man.
A layup. Between the two, the layup is obviously the easier shot. It's also a shot that is highly more likely for a foul to be called if you're driving compared to a fadeaway. It's almost a 3-point shot. Not getting a call. First of all, Bridges is not getting that call because he does not get superstar calls. So the one thing you had to lean on is the driving forward motion for the ref to be like, now we're in the zone to where calls have a higher frequency to be called, opposed to a third, fourth option on the perimeter. It's like basic basketball math. It's nothing brainiac or high level intelligence. It's just what's the most likely shot to either be made or to get the foul called on you.
Now the other question.
Hold on, real quick before the question. To add to Lee's point.
Oh, it was about that. My bad.
I'm just going to add to the guarantee of the shot. A midi, you're fading away from your defender, which means no chance of contact.
Correct.
You are pulling away from your defender.
Correct.
The only time you get fouled on a midi, most times, is when a defender is smaller than you and you get the shot up before they can hit the ball. So they hit your hand. Jalen Johnson is 2 inches taller than Mikal Bridges. There's no reason to jump in to Mikal Bridges. He can jump straight up because he's got those 2 inches on Mikal Bridges. So Mikal did everything that is the opposite of what you want to do in a clutch shot. You want to put yourself in a position that it's not about getting the shot in as much as it is giving yourself the opportunity to get the shot in or draw contact so that you can get to the foul line. Because at that point, overtime is more important than winning the game because it wasn't a guaranteed shot anyway. It was not a completely open shot. It was a forced shot. So I'll let You go, and then I'm gonna play a video clip real quick.
This was another micro decision by Mike Brown that kind of isn't getting talked about enough. The decision to put Mikal in that position can come under scrutiny. Like, should he have been there? Was he the right person to put there? Should we have had Brunson right there? Should we have had OG there? Like someone that would have caught that ball and went to the rack instead of having him there. Maybe we could have had Bridges on the foul line, getting the rebound and kicking the outlet pass. Maybe Josh Hart should have been there. I don't know. Like
Brunson
that's another
really
micro
iced out on that
decision.
play, though. He was
That's
not
the
even
thing, though,
close
is,
to
is when it comes to that, when you're playing off of a rebound, you can't really blame it on the coach, because at the end of the day, when you look at who gets the rebounds most, it's Josh Hart.
It's Josh Hart.
It's not Mikal Bridges. So if Mikal Bridges was in Josh Hart's position, there's a huge chance they miss that and we don't get the rebound. There is no chance for a transition bucket, you know? So at the end of the day, it was where the cards laid. Okay, you're going to put one of your best rebounders underneath the basket in Josh Hart. That was, to me, wise. You know, like Mikal Bridges is not known for, you look at a guy that's not physical. And so this is one reason I want to say this is a choke also, but before I go to this clip, is we talk about how clutch Jalen Brunson is, that he sacrifices his body to draw charges, right?
Yeah.
So why is it not anti-clutch for a player to not sacrifice his body to get the bucket? Like that's weird to me. How do we praise a player that's willing to sacrifice his body on the defensive end, but we can't call it a choke when a player's not willing to sacrifice his body on the offensive end? That doesn't make sense to me.
Well,
if it's
Phil,
true for one, it should be true for both.
Can I just add something real quick to this? Because I feel like it's something we're missing. This game, I felt like the refs were almost on our side to a point. So if you're going to tell me that we weren't going to get the foul call in those final seconds, I have to disagree. The refs were giving us calls. We just weren't making our free throws.
Yep.
The refs aren't going to give us calls. We're not making our shots. We might as well let them play.
And lost by one.
We missed 10 free throws, man. We can't let that happen.
If we're getting the calls and we see that the refs are giving us calls both ways, like they were giving them calls, they were giving us calls. This isn't one of those games that we were like, we couldn't trust the refs. We could. They were calling the game pretty fair through and through. Yeah. So this wasn't a ref issue. Let me play this.
Which is a rarity because, you know.
We'll play this because this is a little concerning to me. All right.
Oh, I didn't hear this. I want to hear this, actually.
Had a chance to win it down the stretch, and then the last possession. Did you like the look you got?
Yeah, just miss it, you know.
Hold on. Whoops.
Look you got.
Yeah, just miss it, you know. Like I got nothing wrong with it. Just got to make it next time.
Was there any thoughts of trying to get to the basket there?
Just trying to, get to the spot, with the time going out, just try to get a nice shot, a rhythm shot.
So you like the shot you got there?
Yeah.
See, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't."
He had no intention of going
to the basket. He had no intention of trying to get to the basket. Like he even said,
next time he won't try either.
Yeah, I was just trying to get like my clear shot. That's the thing is we cannot bank on a player that has one token shot. Like at the end of the day, if we're giving up 5 picks, a huge contract for you, you're a pivotal part of this offense, and your whole thing is, I was just trying to get my shot. Like are you a one-trick pony? Like, no, we know you can drive. Like you're just allergic to contact, so you weren't willing to drive. So for me, that was concerning and frustrating at the end of the day. But let's move on and let's get Lee's predictions for Game 3.
I will say one more thing is I think that a lot of fans, especially the really passionate, really smart, invested fans, there's only so much they're willing to admit about the players who identities they have to on their own personality, right? We all do that. Like the sports heroes we have. I certainly did it with Melo. Before that, I did it with Stephon Marbury. Since Melo, I haven't done it with anyone else, but I've seen that fans do it with Kristaps Porzingis, do it with Julius Randle, especially Jalen Brunson. They part of their identity becomes the person that they root for. There's a link there between they fail, I fail. And there's only a certain amount or limit they're willing to criticize in that player, right? With Cat, it's okay calling him that he's finesse or he's not really aggressive, but you can't call him soft. Bridges, you can say that he doesn't like taking contact, but don't you dare call him a choke. Same with OG. Same with Deucent Bride. Brunson, you can criticize being too on ball, but you can't call him selfish. There's something in people in the fans' mind that gets triggered in a way to where that's the line you can't cross. When in reality, these people are human. They're capable of every good and every bad, including the ones I just named. And the bad traits I just named are absolutely personality traits on the negative side of those 4 players. Even though they have even more positive traits, negative, you can't focus on negative. You can only focus on the positive. This mirrors how we are about religion, about politics. You criticize the other side, but you can't criticize yourself or look at the speck in your own eye, whether it be what your political party identification is, your sexual orientation, your gender. This goes across the board. This is how human beings are. So I will say that is a part of this conversation, this argument, that people do not like recognizing the bad they see in people they identify with, because it mirrors how the bad they see in themselves. Anyway, so that's my last point.
We covered that earlier in the podcast, and we were like, "Yo, it's be a Knicks fan," as Phil tweeted at somebody that was chirping at me today on Twitter. Be a Knicks fan. It's like, I understand you're gonna have your favorite player and stuff, but like, the Knicks gotta come. Yeah. The Knicks gotta come above. The Knicks gotta come above all else, man. It doesn't mean like because Jalen Brunson is your favorite Knicks player that he's perfect and you can't criticize him. He's not perfect at all, bro. Like, he has bad games, he does wrong things, and you can criticize him. It's okay. It doesn't mean that you hate him, you know. No one's above criticism.
It's my favorite trait about Phil. Phil embodies that more than any other member of KOT, and I know I can always depend on him on that. Is that no one is beyond reproach or criticism, and I love that about him. That's probably one of the things him and I agree the most about. We're willing to criticize anybody, maybe because we're so open to criticizing ourselves too. We don't have any problem doing that.
Yeah.
So game 3 must win. Absolutely. We lose game 3, bro.
Oh, I disagree.
Ooh, I don't. I think
let him talk.
The momentum would be too much in Atlanta's favor. I think this team has shown a weakness psychologically to get over certain humps, and I think it would expose the worst in what we've anticipated about Mike Brown, Jalen Brunson, and Karl-Anthony Towns. There is no reason why we should go down 2-1 to this specific Atlanta Hawks team that does not have a championship one option, that does not have a true superstar, and is cooking us not by one of their 2 best players, but a 33-year-old journeyman role man. That is an embarrassment in itself. Neither is Quinn Snyder a top 50 all-time coach or even a top 5 coach in the NBA right now. It would be an embarrassment on every single level if we lost game 3. So to me, this is an absolute must-win. Not necessarily just – I think we still win the series. It's a must-win for our psychology. It's a must-win for our mental game. It's a must-win for our identity to get back on track and do the things that we did during the regular season that made us a top 3 seed and a top 5 net rating.
All right. So at first when you said it's a must-win, I was like, I disagree. But when you said that it's a must-win for our psyche, like moving forward, I agree with that. I sadly, I'll share my take in a second. But Joe, why don't you go?
Hey, man, I'm going to say the same exact thing that I was saying last season, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I definitely think that when it comes to playoff basketball, your coach is the most important person on your team because they're putting you in the best position to succeed. Mike Brown, you need to put in the right rotations to make this basketball team successful. I need to see Kolek. I need to see Sohan. If you want to sprinkle in a Diawara, I don't know where he's going to get minutes, but I just need to see different rotations. We need to maximize what we have advantages on. We have advantages with Cat on Kuminga. We have advantages with Sohan on CJ McCollum. Hello? Let's use these advantages that we have and let's execute, because at the end of the day, Mike Brown, it's up to you, man. You got to make the adjustments. You know, you put your guy Mikal Bridges in a position where he has 3 seconds to shoot a basketball when we should have had a timeout. You didn't use any challenges. At the end of the day, this is on, for me, I'm going to say the same thing I said last year. This is on the coach. We need Mike Brown to execute. That's all I got to say.
All right. Great take, Joe. Great take.
I do agree that coaching is amplified like 10x in the playoffs. I think that Mike Brown will call a play for Cat and then he doesn't execute it and he'll call out Cat in the presser and it's like, oh, Cat needs to be more aggressive. Bro, you need to drive that aggressiveness out of him. You are the coach. You are the coach. Okay, you eating cookies and being a cookie monster and being jovial in all your press conferences isn't going to bring that out of Cat. You got to ride Cat's ass in practice and get that toughness out of him. That's your job as the coach, my man. So if he's playing like that, if he's playing soft, that's because you didn't bring the toughness out of him. I have had hard-nosed coaches growing up, and if you didn't play tough, you weren't playing, and you had to learn how to play tough one way or another, and that is the job of a coach. You can't just be like, oh, I told Cat to post up, and he didn't, and then you're just like, oh, well, Cat didn't execute what I said. No, bro, it's your job to get him to execute, so you have to own up to that. So that's what I want to see out of Mike Brown. Now, where I didn't agree with Lee was that this is a must-win. I have a sneaking, bad, nasty suspicion that we're going to lose Game 3. I'm sorry to say it, but I just have this bad feeling.
I don't think so.
I'm telling you, this is just my sneaky, bad suspicion feeling. If we lose Game 3, then Game 4
plays
is
way too well after losses.
Game 4 is really the must-win because, that's the one. If we lose, then we're really screwed. So to me, if we lose Game 3 and we win Game 4 and we go back to MSG 2-2, then Game 3 wasn't really the must win. You understand what I'm saying? We going back 2-2. So that's why I just don't think that it's the must win. But they should win. They should be trying to win. They should be trying to win all these games. And the only good thing that I'll say is that last year we went down 1-1 and we won 2 games in Detroit. So hopefully they could do the same thing this year, man, because going down 2-1 would not be fun. It would not be fun. I went to Phil's crib the other day and I looked at him and I was like, what are we gonna do? Because I think it's a real possibility. I was like, what are we gonna do if we go down 2-1? And I know I had a scared look on my face. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, so I'm kind of in the middle of you guys. I don't think that it's like a clutch need win game for us to win the series. I think we win the series. I think that it's frustrating because after what we did in this last game at MSG, now we've allowed ourselves to go possibly 6 or 7 games with a team that we should not be going 6 or 7 games with.
Yeah.
And that's going to put a toll on our bodies. It's going to be a toll on our team, a toll on our psyche. You know that the media is going to feast on how the Knicks let it go this many games on a team that they were predicted to win, by all at ESPN. And it's just a lot of taxing on our bodies and our psyche and our emotions. I too kind of lean with you, Al. I'm scared of the possibility of losing this game. I think out of the 2 Atlanta games, I feel like this one we could lose because we had the upper hand in MSG. And I don't care what anybody says, home court at MSG is huge. It is absolutely huge to have home court advantage at the Mecca. And they were able to rise to the occasion and still beat us one of those games. I think that they're going to be on a high. And I think that in that high, the one thing I'm afraid of is overcompensation. Okay. I know that Jalen Brunson usually fixes a situation after a bad game, but he's also not going against that same team and the same player that he was trying to go tick for tack with. Okay. And me and Lee have talked about it all the time. And me and Lee have agreed on this. When he's playing up against another guard who is the top player of that game, he tries to go tick for tack. And he does not like not being the best guard on the court at that time. Yeah, like last game. He got cooked. Okay. And so he got cooked by CJ McCollum. CJ said, okay, you keep on going with your little prideful attitude, and I'm going to pass the ball and still get an open three. Like, CJ was like, this is how you play basketball, young buck. And so at the end of the day, I feel like Jalen, if he was playing a different team, this would be a bounce back game. But if you start seeing Alexander Walker or CJ McCollum once again being the star, I feel like overcompensation is going to happen by Jalen Brunson. And he's going to try too hard. And he's going to ice out Cat again. If we ice out Cat in this series, it is the stupidest thing the New York Knicks can do. Our advantage over them is Karl Anthony Cat.
Yeah, I know.
Like, so to ice out the player that is our advantage is absolute ridiculous stupidity. Like, it is absolutely asinine. And so I think that it's going to take this next game where they're on a high. If we lose, like, I think that this could be the two that we lose back to back in the series. So that's my opinion. I also think that Mike Brown needs to bring, like I said, facilitation off the bench. If there's not facilitation off the bench to compensate for those Jalen Brunson brick minutes, it's going to be an issue. We need productivity from the bench. We're not getting that from McBride. We're not getting that right now from Shamet.
Yeah.
It's
Tyler Kolek.
Yep, it's got to be Kolek. It's got to be Clarkson. It's got to be Alvarado. Those are our three chances off the bench in this series. Like, because at the end of the day, they have height, which stops guards that are trying to score, but it doesn't stop guards that are trying to facilitate. There's a huge difference. So your height is not the advantage when the guy's not trying to shoot. When the guy's trying to find the big guy, that's an advantage in our part. So for me, I think that if we lose any of the Atlanta games, it'll be this one. I'm hoping we don't. But at the end of the day, there has to be inclusivity for us to have any chance at winning. So I'm going to play this real quick. This is going to be my now run that back moment because I honestly don't really vibe with this dude that had this take more times than not. I'm like, bro, just stop talking. But I really connected with what he said on this. So this is my, not bench mob. This is my run that back moment. So let's share the screen real quick and I'll show the clip that I'm talking about. Where's it at? Where's my Twitter? Hold up.
Yo, peace to Tony Tone. I know he's heading out, man. Thank you for rocking with us.
Hey, good night, Tone. Appreciate you, bro. Wish you could have been on this episode, but I know your family had some stuff. So, all right. So here we go. What's this?
I'll catch you, Tony.
Do you remember this guy's name? Al, that Apollo said? The guy that I'm going to show the clip from?
I gotta see. Oh God!
Oh, not
Nick
guy.
Nick Wright. There it is. Nick Wright.
Oh, so this is. I'm gonna be honest, guys. All right. Every time I see him,
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan
either. But every time I see him, this is what I see. Let me remove that real quick. All right. Let me share this real quick. Every time he talks, I'm like, yo, this is what he would look like if he was a broadcaster. Ain't that him with long hair?
No, shout out
to Tom Green.
Comedy genius, man. Shout out to Tom Green.
Oh,
yeah, every time this guy talks, I'm like, Daddy, do you want some sausage? Daddy, do you like some sausage?
Freddie got fingered. Shout out Freddie got fingered, man.
Yep, Freddie got fingered. All right, so, but this is an actual take that I vibe with. So here we go.
Jalen Brunson should have played more. You know what he definitely should have done? Passed more. You can't have 13 field goal attempts and 1 assist in the second half from your point guard. 10 of 26 from Jalen Brunson gets you beat. Like especially when they're hunting you on the other end. And to your point, Cat was 8 of 12, 8 of 10 going into the fourth quarter. We don't know how hot he could have been. He wasn't getting the ball enough. Right. Jalen was listen, he's hit the 3 to tie it late. He didn't hit the 3 to cut it from 4-1. He's a great player. I was argued with Colin today on his show because I thought Colin was downgrading him too much. He is a great player. I think he's a superstar. That wasn't a good performance by him. And it was a little too heliocentric, as you would say, where he does his own thing.
So first, shout out to him because that's one of the few takes that I've actually been like, dang, homeboy was spot on. And shout out to my guy Lee because Heliocentric. He posted that in his Substack. That's a word that's all over the place right now with Jalen Brunson. Heliocentric. So
appreciate you for reading, man. Thank you.
Of course. So that to me is something that is going to be either we win or we lose. If Jalen Brunson comes in heliocentric, we lose game 3, like we do. Like it has to be an inclusivity kind of game for us to win this series. It has to.
Well, Phil, what do you say when people say the narrative that, oh, it's not that Brunson's not giving up the ball, it's that they're deferring back to Brunson and Brunson's getting the ball back into his hands and then taking the shot? What do you think about that?
I don't think that's what's happening.
That's bullcrap. He's a freaking point guard.
Yeah.
The whole role of a point guard is if a play is dead, get it back into the hands of your point guard, and he will figure out what is best moving forward.
Look,
Yeah.
That's not reverting to somebody. That's going back to the basics of the game of basketball that we all love is, hey, you don't have something, get it back in your point guard's hands because that is his role to then figure out what the next move is. So that's not reverting. That's saying, hey, let's reset. But for Jalen Brunson, a lot of times reset means, okay, now it's my time. And that's not what resetting is. You look back, freaking Clyde Wall-Frazier. There's many times that they gave it back to Clyde. What did Clyde do? Find a way to get it back into the hands of Willis. Like, find ways to do this. You have guys like John Stockton. They would give it back to Stockton. That didn't mean it became the Stockton show. It meant let's find another way to get Karl Malone involved.
But that's not what's happening on the Knicks right now. It's like Brunson is dribbling the ball for 20 seconds, and then he either shoots it or passes it to someone, and they have to get rid of it real quick.
Yeah.
It's not like he's passing it and they're swinging it back to him. That's not what's happening.
Yeah, and it sucks because the first half was that, especially in the first quarter. Like, that was beautiful basketball. So it's not that they are going, oh, the play's dead, let's give it to Brunson, we're scared. They're giving it to their captain because what do you do when you feel like there's a possible iceberg? You don't wait for the backup ship commander to be behind the wheel. You call the captain. You say, Captain, this is what's up ahead. How do you think we need to handle this?
Mm-hmm.
And the
Pick
captain
and roll.
doesn't have to do everything else. The captain gives the directions. But Jalen Brunson gives the directions, but he's also the guy that is now steering the wheel. He's the guy pushing all the buttons. And all of a sudden, the team no longer matters. And we still wind up hitting an iceberg anyway. So, no, I don't believe it's them reverting to Jalen Brunson because they're scared or they don't feel like I want to be part of this moment. They're saying, hey, this play didn't work. Let's reset and do something else. That is an actual job of a point guard. That's why you are called a point guard. That is your job. That is your role.
I have to be honest with you guys. One of the other reasons why I think this is a must win for the Knicks is because I don't trust Mike Brown as a playoff schematic tactician.
Yeah, right now, no.
Obviously, he knows more than all of us combined times 100, right? Because he's a head coach. But I say that in context of who he's coaching against. This is the best in the entire world on the court and off the court. It's the best coaches against each other. Him and Quinn Snyder and their assistants. And in my history of knowing Mike Brown, I have never seen him come back from this type of deficit and win, especially in a team like this where the Atlanta Hawks are probably the best opposition that he's ever coached in the NBA. Because in my opinion, every year the talent differential gets bigger and bigger. This Hawks team is more talented and multidimensional than any team that he coached in while he was in Cleveland. That he even might have coached against champions, but their level of three-point shooting, passing, three-level scoring has never been more deep than it is right now. And the last time he coached, I broke down that Warriors team series in 2023. He lost 3 games in a row. He would have gotten his ass kicked in that series if he hadn't won the first 2. That was the first time a coach won 2 games, went up 2-0 against a Steph Curry Warriors, and the one and only time it ever happened against them. So in my opinion, I'm very concerned about Mike Brown coaching himself and a team out of a 2-1 hole. I think he can maintain a 2-1 lead, but I'm really worried about the chess match between him and Snyder. I think Snyder has more defensive versatility on his team than the Knicks do on ours.
Let me tell you this, and this is really why I'm concerned about Game 3. I do a little bit of sports gambling. I know a little bit of things here and there. The game tomorrow is a pick'em. Okay, It's even on both sides. It's basically pick whoever you think is going to win. What do you think the general public is going to take?
The
If
Suns.
it's what do you mean the Suns? It's the Knicks and the Knicks and the Hawks, bro. The Knicks and the Hawks. Like it's a pick 'em. It's like it's even 50-50. What is the general public gonna take?
The Hawks.
The general public is gonna take the general public is gonna take the Knicks. Everyone's gonna flock to bet the Knicks, and that's when Vegas analyzes and makes most of their money.
Hold on. You're saying because it's a more sure bet, then the referees are going to lean toward the Hawks being the upset.
No. I'm saying if it's even money on both sides, right? Or everything is even. Knicks, Hawks, who are you going to pick? Like most people, I think the general public is just going to go ahead and pick the Knicks and bet on the Knicks because
they are the 3 seed.
Yeah,
so.
they're the 3 seed. So that's when Vegas makes all the money when they dupe people into picking the wrong team.
Yeah, that's what I was
and they win. So I get it. I get too deep into that stuff, and that's really what's driving me to be very scared about Game 3.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. I think if we play the game the way that we played the first half, we win leaps and bounds.
Of course, yes.
So to me, I feel like the game plan is the same, but I feel like for me more so, yes, Mike Brown. Like I crucified him earlier for some of his stupidity. But at the end of the day, besides sitting a selfish number one option, if Jalen Brunson decides that his pride is going to be the more important thing than the actual team, the only thing Mike Brown could do was sit him. And I feel like if any of us got on a podcast and said, Mike Brown sat Jalen Brunson, stupidest coach in the world. Like we would all pretty much crucify him if he sat Jalen Brunson. You know, like the fan base would crucify him. And so when I look at Game 2, I go, yeah, there were some things that like at the end of the day, Mike Brown screwed up. But if I'm going to put more responsibility on who it was on, I'm going to put it on Jalen Brunson. So the only thing Mike Brown could have done to not have Jalen Brunson make that fourth quarter about him would be sit him, and then we would have crucified Mike Brown anyway for for Jalen Brunson sitting. So to me, it falls more on Jalen Brunson in Game 3 than it does Mike Brown, because because here's the thing. What I'm saying is Mike Brown's poor decisions throughout the game still had us to win the game in the fourth. It wasn't until selfish solo ball started happening in that fourth quarter and Cat got iced out that we ended up losing the lead.
To add to your point,
I got a question for Lee too, if you guys.
Al, you there? You froze.
It was also about who Jalen Brunson was guarding. Jalen Brunson was the Knicks could not peel Brunson off of CJ McCollum. He kept getting attacked and hunted by McCollum, and McCollum was able to eventually win the game based on his attack and his defense.
Yeah.
That's Brown's job.
I agree. I agree on that part with Mike Brown for sure. Like,
Brown has to figure that out.
Hadn't figured that out. I feel like Jalen Brunson should have been switched. Sohan or somebody that could actually defend CJ McCollum should have happened, because Dyson Daniels wasn't hot. I said this earlier, Lee, I don't know if you were in the show. I would rather continue to give up 2-point baskets than continue to give up a possibility of a 3-pointer from CJ McCollum and him being able to shoot from everywhere. Dyson Daniels is not going to continue to light you up from 3. So if you have to give up a 2, give up a 2. Don't give up 3.
Phil, I was trying to say something that piggybacked your point, but I got cut out. I don't know. You guys must not have heard me. With what you were saying about like the players, it's a little bit on the players and not so much Mike Brown. I kind of do also, agree with that in a way, because with 5 minutes left in the game, all the starters were in and we were up 8 points. Like even after all of that, like the bad lineups and all that kind of stuff that was happening, that all the bad decisions that Mike Brown made, with 5 minutes left in the game, we were up 8 and our starters were in.
Yep.
And they should have brought us home.
Yeah. And that's a great point, because at the end of the day, you can say, based off of his poor decisions as a coach, we could have been up higher. But at the end of the day, we were still up 8. That's
8,
more than enough.
That's more than enough.
You know,
more than enough.
What caused us to lose that 8-point lead and what caused us to lose the game was not a poor Mike Brown rotation, was not a poor Mike Brown decision, besides the defense of CJ McCollum.
Yes.
But it was the selfishness of Jalen Brunson, the lack of inclusion of Karl Anthony Towns, and the poor shot choice by Mikal Bridges. That's all player-centric, those 3 things. That's player-centric.
Yeah.
Like, so Mike Brown gets a hit for not making the change on CJ McCollum, but the offense being a one-man show, the offense not riding the hot hand of Karl Anthony Towns, or Cat not being dominant against Kuminga, or Mikal being a coward, those are all player-centric issues that cost us the last, minutes in the fourth quarter, because we still had that 8-point lead. So I believe blame belongs on both the players and the coach, but in the last few minutes of the fourth quarter, he had the players that needed to be out there, and yet they did not execute. Like they dropped the ball. Like at the end of the day, like if you go to a restaurant and the chef brings out the meal wrong, and you're like, hey, this is not what I ordered. Like, I need it fixed. And then he fixes it and brings it out and it's right, you're winning. But if you then decide, oh man, this steak looks like it can use some ketchup, like that's not the chef's fault anymore. Like the chef screwed up before, for sure. But at least he brought out the right plate when it mattered, when you needed to eat. Our guys threw ketchup all over that steak in the last few minutes of the fourth quarter. and it cost us the game. So Mike Brown, up until that point, really dropped the ball in a lot of areas. But I feel like even with dropping the ball, we found a way to be ahead 8 points. And then our guys just ketchup everywhere. And it was just like, man, this sucks. But at the end of the day, we in my opinion, we need to make a statement in Atlanta. Like we really do. But to me, my X factor has changed. At first my X factor was other people. Now my X factor is Jalen Brunson. The Bible is very, very clear that pride comes before the fall. Very clear. Like that's in scripture in the Old Testament. That's in scripture in the New Testament, that pride will always be your downfall. If Jalen Brunson continues to have pride and not make it about the team, we're going to have a rude awakening as the New York Knicks, like fan base. I really think we are. I think he needs to sacrifice his pride, sacrifice his name, sacrifice his needing to prove something, and then we'll see changes as the New York Knicks. But I feel like if Jalen Brunson goes in with pride of having to redeem himself and showcase how great he is, we're going to lose. So I hope that's not the case. I hope that he realizes that, like, hey, guess what? We got you the best shooting big man in the league for a reason, so that you're not having to play the same role that you played with Julius Randle.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it is what it is. I hope we win. To everybody in the chat, thank you all locking in for us. You got over 167 people still in the chat right now. We appreciate you guys for locking in with us, supporting what we do here at the KOT channel. If you guys can, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also retweet it, repost it on Instagram. I want 10K before the season's done, y'all. Like, let's make it happen. There's no reason not to. Tomorrow night, make sure you are locked in right here for my family, the KOT channel, bringing all the beauty behind the game, what they saw, what they liked, what they didn't like. So shout out to everybody at the KOT family. Also, make sure you are locked in because, like I said last week, we got a new show, The Nick Life Crisis, talking all things adulthood, parenting, basketball with my guy Al from Harlem and our guy Rob. amazing like addition to the team. This channel is growing, guys. Like it is going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to do big things, and we would love you guys there for the journey. If you guys have not followed Lee and his Substack, I don't know what the heck you're doing. Stop reading stupidity all over social media. Like there's a lot of stupidity that I know that you read throughout the day.
Word.
Why not actually read something that comes from a brain? Like it would change your life. All right. So get off the stupidities, get off the like Knicks for clicks social media posts and everything like that, and follow somebody that actually breaks down the game of basketball in an excellent and genius way. Do I always agree with him? No. But do I always love him? That's for dang sure. That's my guy, Lee Escobedo. All right. And you know, my guy Joe from AC, like, how do you not appreciate a guy who comes on, doesn't even have to show his face, and still drops nothing but heat? Like, you
Wait,
gotta
Joe, are you on Twitter?
Well, you know, I like to see the voice thing moving when I'm talking because I like to mute my mic, and if I have my mic muted and I don't see it moving, then I know. So that's why I do that. But
Joe, are you on Twitter or what?
No, I don't have a Twitter. I can make one, but I just
no. I was wondering if
I only have the YouTube channel right now that I'm posting content on. So
all right,
okay, I'll follow you there then.
Hey, Joe, do me a favor. You got Instagram, Joe?
No, but I got to make one of those too. Right now, like I said, I just got the YouTube channel.
All right, Joe,
it's a time suck. Don't do it. It's a time suck.
Joe, do me a favor. I'm going to post right now my email address. Before we get off here, do me a favor. Send me an email with your YouTube link so I can check it out. I love your takes. I want to continue to talk and chop it up.
Yeah.
Hey, man, thanks.
Joe's good.
Well, there's just one thing. I wanted to ask Lee a question before we go. You know, everything in the Substack I'm reading, it's awesome, man. But there's one thing I want to talk to you about that I don't think you mentioned. But you know, we're talking about throwing ketchup on the steak, and you know, the pace of the game I feel like is really important. During game one, at the end of the game, it seems like we're really trying to like slow down our offense. Like it looks like Mike Brown is preferring to just, instead of, you know, putting the foot on the throat of the neck of the other team, we're just kind of slowing things down. And I feel like that's giving the other team momentum. I'm really curious, Lee, how you feel about this. You know, in this game too, I feel like we're kind of doing the same thing. We're slowing things down, and I felt like it led to our downfall. Do we continue to revert to this pace where we're slowing things down and we're trying to kill the clock, or do we go guns a-blazing and we just keep trying to score? Because what I'm seeing with Brunson is he likes to get that clock to stop moving, but I don't know if it's the best thing for us to do.
That's a great question, bro. It's hard to argue against what got us here. And what got us here is a slow down half-court pace. And that's been the case since Tibbs' first year, 2020, 2021. It's just been an evolution since then. I think I advocate for the half-court pace over transition because I think we're better in that way. We have better half-court players than we do transition players. The only real transition players we have is Josh Hart and OG Anunoby. Those are the two guys who are willing to go to the hole. And OG is one of the best dunker spot scorers in the NBA, as well as a cutter, and Hart's a great slasher. But after that, Brunson's not great finishing in transition at the rim. Towns can't even handle the ball going coast to coast. And Mikal Bridges, as we all know, is averse to contact. So I don't think it's in our best advantage to down and run because the Hawks are a very good.
That plays right into their hands.
Yeah, Jalen Johnson and Anaki Okondu are especially good at that advanced pass, which you usually see Hartenstein do. Kind of like the one-hand cat does it sometimes too, Hart sometimes too. But it's just a really long pass where the player catches it in stride. They really don't need more than 2 steps to lay it in. We don't have someone on our team who can do that effectively or big enough like Hart was. All of our guys are very small, so a pass from Josh Hart can be intercepted by guys running the wings like Dyson Daniels or Nall. So I don't advise purposely getting out in transition, but I will say when it's there, try to put the ball in Josh Hart's hands. Mm-hmm. And next time Hart is able to go down court and be a one-man fast break, don't defer to Mikal Bridges and allow him to step back and fade away from the perimeter. Actually go to the rim and lay it in, or even more, maybe did an and one. But I would say we don't have the horses to get into a trap meet with them. But they've also been purposely allowing us to win the rebounding battle so that they get to the other side of the court and get their set defense instead of crashing a glass and trying to have 3 or 4 bodies in competition with us. They're letting us get the rebound and then going down the other side and getting set before we can get up there and cutting off our pick and roll actions. So it's It's the chess match, brother. And I don't think getting out and running is the best answer. I think it's properly executing our motion offense and making sure whoever has the ball, the other 4 guys are in constant motion.
Hey, but I think that's the reason why Joe was saying get out and run so they don't set up their defense. You know what I mean? Because they purposely have been trying to set up their shell. And the only way to get around that is if you get out in transition and don't let them set up their shell. Listen, this has been what Mike Brown has been preaching all year. This is the way he wanted to play. And we just don't have the personnel that plays that way. Brunson doesn't play that way. And for us to pivot to something that we haven't done all year is I think that's a recipe for disaster in the playoffs. Maybe if you bring in Alvarado in the second unit, he likes to push the pace. So maybe he can get out and push the pace. But like towards the end of the game, the pace is going to end up slowing down, bro.
The bench is able to run and done, and we tried that last game, and we got destroyed. That bench unit got beat by the non-Brunson, non-Cat minutes, got destroyed at the start of the 4th quarter. So I don't even advise the bench doing that because Deuce, undersized. Shamit, undersized. Alvarado, undersized. It's like, hell, we don't really even have an advantage running down court. Clarkson, undersized. And none of those guys are super effective at finishing around the rim. Alvarado can't even put a shot up before getting blocked. And Clarkson and Deuce are not effective finishing around the rim. Neither really is Shamit. So, again, we don't have the personnel.
So I'm going to agree and disagree to a point. First, I want to say one thing about Mike Brown, okay? Like Al said, that was his intention from the get-go, was to go fast, run in transition, stuff like that. So regardless of the criticism that I gave him for these last 2 games, I also still want to give flowers because if I can give Cole, I need to give flowers. For a coach to come in with a full desire to transform and realize my roster is not going to do that, like it just can't, and still find a way to pivot and win, I give him credit for that. Like a coach being willing to say, hey, it's not just my way or the highway, but saying, okay, even though I wanted to do this, it's not going to work out. Let's find another way to make this work. I got to give him kudos for that because a lot of times we crucified Tibbs for it being his way or the highway. You know, we were like, what are you doing? Why are you so stubborn that you won't pivot? At least Mike Brown pivoted in that and found a way to make it still work. One thing I will say, though, is I don't think that the transition thing won't work. I think the transition thing won't work because the wrong player is being played. And that's where I also have to look at Mike Brown. Okay. So if you look at some of the best minutes with Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Cat, and some of the other role players like Mitchell Robinson and even Jordan Clarkson, the guy that's on the court with the facilitation for those fast breaks and a ball-moving offense, that's Tyler Kolek. Tyler Kolek has been able to bring out a fast-paced offense in our guys because his height isn't reliant on passing over people, but making the right read through the bounce pass. That's completely different than a lot of these other guys that aren't facilitators at heart. Miles McBride will tend to pass overhead, trying to pass over somebody, making the easy pass. Jordan Clarkson, kind of a loose cannon when it comes to passes. Jose Alvarado is, I'm going to draw people and then try to pass. That's not necessarily fast-paced transition. But Tyler Kolek is the opposite. We've seen the best cuts from Mikal Bridges. We've seen the best cuts from OG Anunoby, the best cuts from Cat. We've seen the best cuts from Jordan Clarkson. All those guys have come when they're on the court with Tyler Kolek. And that's why I'm pushing for Tyler Kolek minutes off the bench. Because if you want fast pace and a guy that's not trying to score, that gives us the opportunity. Miles McBride is not a fast-paced transition player at all, in any way, shape, or form. Jordan Clarkson is not a fast-paced facilitator. Jordan Clarkson is a fast-paced draw to the basket and try to shoot and get in contact. So for me, the only one I trust in fast-paced right now is Josh Hart because he's going to draw contact and at least get the basket and be strong enough to at least possibly make it. But none of the other guys I'm trusting in fast pace. And so for me, I believe in the slow pace when it works, which is a Jalen Brunson-led offense. But a slow pace offense with Miles McBride or with Jordan Clarkson or with any of those guys has proven to produce zero productivity. Zero. Like absolute just glasses all the way through. And so for me, that's why I want to try Tyler Kolek minutes. Try Tyler Kolek minutes
me too.
and see if it works. See if it works. Because we know that what we've done with the bench has not worked. So it's not like we're straying away from something that has been productive or helpful in any way, shape, or form. It's testing something in Tyler Kolek who can facilitate for some guys. So I believe that Tyler Kolek should be out there. I believe that one of our starters should play some of the minutes with our, bench players and see if we can get any transition buckets. Because imagine that game with some transition buckets from the bench unit. Imagine if
you want to see Kolek over Alvarado?
Yes.
And this is coming from a Puerto Rican guy.
And this is coming from someone that
you're picking the white guy over the Puerto Rican guy.
Yes. And this isn't Puerto Rican on Puerto Rican crime. All right. Because Alvarado, I love Alvarado. Bringing him here was genius to me. But more so, not Kolek over Alvarado. For me, it's Kolek over McBride.
Yep. You said it right out. Yep.
I'm fine with Alvarado still getting his 8.5 minutes.
Okay.
But I don't see why we need to give Miles McBride another almost 14 minutes when in both games it's led to absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he's cold, man. He's just got off injury.
Cold.
We got to use
He's got off injury. That was my concern. I think we've given him a lot of leeway. We've given him a lot of runway to try to shake off the rustiness, and he hasn't. And also coupled with the fact that he hasn't been a playoff performer in the past, I think it's a good time to pivot away from him, and I hope he's smart enough to do it.
Yeah. And I if I honestly think of a player who has absorbed more from his time studying under Jalen Brunson out of all the guys on our bench, I feel like Tyler Kolek is that guy. I feel like Tyler Kolek has implemented more of a Jalen Brunson style of basketball than most of those guys. And so I feel like he can at least do that, but also give us that transition that we need, that facilitating that we need.
Right now, there was games where Kolek was making Brunson look like a rookie, man.
Yeah.
There were 1 or 2 games I remember seeing Kolek just making Brunson look bad.
Kolek was cooking, bro.
He is an understudy. He is an understudy of Jalen Brunson. And I feel like, no, he's not at the level of Jalen Brunson in any way, shape, or form when it comes to scoring, drawing contact, all that stuff. But I feel like he's a guy that doesn't shy away from the moment, but he's also a guy that is constantly with facilitation goggles on. And where are we struggling the most from the bench?
I love it about him, man. Love it.
Facilitation. I want to see some Tyler Kolek minutes. And if it fails, it fails. But right now, there's no risk because everything else that we've seen has failed when it comes to the bench unit. It's absolutely
we just can't play Deuce with Shaman anymore, in my opinion.
So I want to say something real quick to my guy Al. Al, do you not have a Glencairn?
I do, but lately I've been liking to drink more out of these glasses. I don't know why. I've been drinking out of that. Yeah, I have some Glencairns.
All right. You got to start drinking through a Glencairn. You get the best whiskey notes out of a Glencairn. Always.
All right, I'll drink on the next one. I'll drink on the Glencairn.
Right. Old fashioned, grab that glass. But you lose a lot of the whiskey when you drink out of a glass that much because it allows it to oxidize so much.
All right.
Just a little heads up. But anyway, to everybody that's watching, before we wrap up, next week I am excited. We had my guy Jacob from Coming Whiskey on our show a few weeks ago, and he introduced us to a brand called Circle City out of Indiana, and they will actually be on the show next week. So after connecting with them, after tasting the pour, I reached out to them and was like, man, I absolutely love, what you're doing here. And a friend of mine contacted me and was like, yo, yeah, I can connect you with, the guy who runs it. And I was like, yeah, let me connect with him. And after having just a few minute conversation with him, I was like, bro, I want you guys on the show. I want to do a whole friggin' episode with you guys. And Drew was like, let's do it. So Drew's going to be on next week. I will let you guys know he is a Pacer fan, but at least they're not in the playoffs this year. So it's not so bad to talk to them. We can kind of rub it in their face a little bit and talk about how, it's going to take some time for them to rebuild. But they're out of Indianapolis. So he will be on the show next week, chopping it up with us. Hopefully we'll be talking about some victories for the New York Knicks, not coming off a loss. But Lee Escobedo, let everybody know where they can follow and support the Latin assassin himself.
You bet. Follow me on Twitter at @Lee Escobedo, LeeEscobedo. I'm a lot more friendlier these days on social media, specifically Twitter. I get in less fights and less arguments because my main.
Watch what you say to him, because I met someone today that was like, "Yo, he blocked me. I can't share his Substack."
The majority of the time I've been on Twitter since I joined, I had been a force of anger and rage. But knowing my man Phil Porto, he's really calmed me down a bit. Influence on my spirit as a fellow brother. So I'm trying to be more Christ-like on social media, even though I'm not going to lie, it's incredibly hard. I always tell Jay Ellis, I'm the Hulk, but I'm trying to be more Bruce Banner than the Incredible Hulk. But I enjoy so much being the Hulk. It just comes natural.
All right. So real quick, I got to give my boy Lee straight up props. All right. So one of the first times that I had Lee on the show was back in my morning brew days, right? And we had him on the show, and then I had him on the nightcap, and I had him and my guy Anthony Donahue on the show. Lee did not like Anthony at the time. And little did I know, Lee Escobedo was going to make it very clear that he didn't like Lee on my show. It was the most awkward episode I have ever done as a New York Knicks content creator. And I'm there going, I love this guy, but I want to kick him in the nuts right now. And from then to now, the transformation that you see in Lee Escobedo is leaps and bounds different. Like, Lee has seriously been one of those guys that I've been able to just have real heart-to-heart conversations. And a lot of people, when you call them out on something, they put up their guard and they want to attack back. Lee has been so humble in being able to say, you know what, man, I thought about it and you're right. I screwed up here. You don't get that from a lot of people. And that is a huge character change in my guy, Lee Escobedo. So I celebrate that in big, straight up,
I like that a lot.
Outside of Knicks content and stuff like that, there's not a lot of people that I'm a rock with outside of Knicks content. There's a lot of people on Knicks Twitter that I vibe with and whatever when it comes to Knicks, but you'll never see me go, hey, if I'm in your town, I want to spend time with you. I want to build with you. I want to do life with you. Lee Escobedo, the day I hang up Knicks content creation is the day I hang up Knicks content creation. But Lee Escobedo is still going to be a part of my life. That is a guy that I have seen massive growth in. And like he said, he has been willing to hear things out and be like, man, you're right. If this makes me more like Christ, I want to do it. And I love that about this guy. Seriously, I love that about this guy. And he is not just the Knicks content creator. He is not just a fellow Knicks fan to me. This is somebody that I would go to war for. And there's not many people in my life that I would say that about publicly, that I would actually go to war for. And that is this guy. This guy is massively important to me. And I love what is happening in his life. I love the growth that I've seen in him as a person and as a Knicks content creator. And I will rock with this guy till the wheels fall off. So shout out to my guy, Lee Escobedo.
I appreciate you so much.
Facts. Me too.
Thank you.
All right, Joe, tell people where they can find you, my guy.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm the Optimistic Nick Fan on YouTube, so just type in the Optimistic Nick Fan. You'll find me, Joe from AC. But hey, man, I just want to give a shout out to you, Lee, man. You've been killing it. I love your Substack. I just want to say, don't follow me, follow Lee, because he's killing it right now. And you gotta give love where it belongs. And he's leveling up. All I gotta say is, just make sure you remember us smaller guys when you're right up to the top. So, hey, man, salute you, Lee. I love your content and. Hey, man, let's go Knicks.
Appreciate y'all.
Let's get it. All right, Al, let everybody know where they can find my co-host.
Yo, y'all can find me on Twitter and Instagram, Al from Harlem. I do most of my talking on Twitter. I had somebody yapping at me today, and we were kind of going back and forth. But I let my thoughts go uncensored on Twitter, so you can find me there. And then right now we're like in a little bit of an in between time where we're going live on Nick Life Crisis YouTube and KOT YouTube, but that Nick Life Crisis YouTube is going to go away, and we will be solely going live from the KOT YouTube, baby. All right, so only like a couple more episodes there, strictly from the KOT YouTube. So check out the show. Appreciate your support, and come through. It's very different from like the other shows on KOT. So just come check it out and come rock with us. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, I love it. One of my favorite things is like the diversity of people and where they're at in life on the KOT show. And so one thing that I love about the Nick Life Crisis is like, it is a lot to balance what it's like to be a parent and also be a content creator. Like a lot of people don't realize that, like there is that balance. And we can celebrate our joys as Knicks fans, but a guy like Al who just had a child, there's a different kind of celebration that comes with holding your child, talking with your child, like having to hold your child for the first like 25 minutes of your Nick Life Crisis show.
I was gonna say she was on the first episode.
Yeah, that was the first episode that Phil brought them onto the channel. He's like holding his baby. That is a new kind of level of Nick's content. And so I love that they're just being real about it. And I love having them on the show. Like these guys, seriously, they have such a freaking like possibility of just blowing up what they're doing because it relates to Nick's content in a whole different way than a lot of people. And one thing I always say about Nick of Time when people ask like, what's the difference about them? Like when I was what they call a free agent in content after I left the channel that I was at before and was, being talked to by different, channels about where to go and where to bring my content. The reason I chose KOT then is the same reason I would choose KOT time and time again. I say this all the time. A lot of channels talk at you and you are just someone to listen. But KOT, we talk with you. Like we are one of you. Like we want you to feel like you are part of our conversation, that we value you, that we appreciate you, that if we see you on the streets, it's not we're above you. It's we are you. Like we are one of you. Like we are your voice on YouTube. And we want your voice to be shared, which is why every single episode of the Knicks Nightcap since I got here opens up opportunity for anyone to come and talk their talk. Because this is not about Phil. This is not about Apollo. This is not about Al. This is not about Lee. This is about our community and building that. So it's an open place for Joe. It's an open place for Tony Tone. It's an open place for Swanee. It's an open place for anybody. And so KOT is different because we're not just someone that wants to talk to you about the Knicks. We want to talk with you about the Knicks. So that's what sets this channel apart. So if you guys can, please hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Support through super chats. None of us are feasting off of this. There's other channels that are making bank off of what they're doing. We're not there yet, but we would love to be there. We would love to be like, hey, this is all we're going to do, and we're going to put out content all day, every day. But we're not there yet. But with your guys' support, we can be there. So we appreciate you guys. Like always, God bless. If you drank anything tonight and you have to drive home, I will say this here. I will say this on all of my episodes. Drink responsibly. Don't ever get behind the wheel after having something to drink. That's just not smart. It's not wise. I'll never promote that. Shout out to my team at Peerless right here. My guy John for sending these beautiful bottles over. We look forward to having you on later on in the season before it's over. And at the end of the day, let's get this freaking chip, fans. Let's do this. Let's put in the work. Let's support our team. Let's support our content creators. And until next time, God bless. We love you guys. Peace out.
Let's go.
Peace.
This is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot on my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now.